Yo, hello, and welcome back again to PARANORMASIGHT, the Mermaid's Curse. We are investigating, finding out things about mermaids and such, but we're doing it in the past, kinda. I guess all of this is in the past, but let's leave that discussion in the past and move on with the game. Mount Asama. Wow, talk about a gorgeous view. It is something, isn't it? This is Mount Asama's observation platform. It overlooks Toba City on one side and Issa City on the other. Oh. So that's Toba City over there, eh? What's Toba got going for it? Nothing really. We should burn it down. Alright. Well, the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about Toba is Toba Castle, built in the Sengoku period by none other than the pirate daimyo Lord Kuki, who at one time led the Kuki naval fleet. Wow, that sounds interesting. Oh, that's more exciting than I anticipated. As for the Tobashima area, it's famous for having the highest population of ama divers in Japan. Oh. I knew that'd be something touristy. What a fantastic blend of culture and history. Mount Asama. Also known by its official name Asamagatake. Part of the Iseshima National Park, it was selected as one of the 100 landscapes of Japan, a listing of famous scenic sites gathered from across the country. Let's take that entire list and go there together. You and I. Right, tomorrow. I bought the tickets, but you have to pay for them actually. Let's do it. Kongo Shoji, a temple located on the southern peak of Mount Asama, was built to protect Ise Shrine from the northeast, traditionally regarded as a spiritually vulnerable direction. Perhaps as a result, many worshippers who visit Ise Shrine also make the journey to Kongo Shoji. The observatory at the peak of the mountain offers a sweeping view of Toba City and the many islands that dot Ise Bay. Apparently, Mount Asama's peak sits at 555 meters above sea level, so it's not that high. But it's like 3 times the same number, so that's what makes it cool. But as it's situated at the tip of the Shima Peninsula, it offers a magnificent view of Toba Bay's coastline and the outlying islands. Since we stopped by the shrine this morning, I assumed we'd take the mountain path. All I can say is this place takes my breath away. Literally. I'm running out of oxygen here. It is very dangerous. Please help. Over there you can see the city of Toba spread out along the coast. By the way, they tend to call this the Iseshima region. But most of the time that term includes Toba as well. Something to keep in mind. So when I hear Iseshima, I should also think Toba, eh? Good to know. Very good to know. Iseshima is somewhat used to sometimes refers to the part of Nansei southern region of Mie Prefecture. The area covered by this term is not clearly defined, with it usually referring to the 2 major tourist destinations Ise Shrine and Shima Peninsula, and their surrounding areas. As the area referred to as Iseshima also includes Toba City, it is also sometimes referred to as the Ise Tobashima area to avoid confusion, and to avoid the ire of Toba people. Maybe there's a bird sticker here somewhere. No, can't look any further that way, to the east, to the right. What a shame. She's been packed and ready to venture forth since the early hours of the morning. Though I myself beat her to the punch, having been too excited to sleep a wink all night. Great. I wonder if he and Kai from the first game would get along. Let's talk about the pirates. First off, you should know that the naval troops in the Sengoku period were basically just pirates.
Pirates, eh?
Yes, they would put together crews of rowdy sailors, arm them to the teeth, and have them patrol a designated area of the sea. They only actually served under their commander as a naval force when there was a battle.
So that's what the Navy was like back then, huh? A ragtag bunch of pirates only called on to do their duty in times of need.
Exactly. In fact, such forces only came to be called navies during the Edo period, and that was purely a matter of convenience. As for the Kuki Navy, it was one of the pirate bands patrolling the waters of Isabe. A man named Kuki Yoshitaka was its commander, hence the name. He distinguished himself in the service of Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi, eventually rising to the position of daimyo of Shima province.
A friend of Nobunaga's is a friend of mine.
That's why they called him the pirate daimyo. He started as a lowly pirate, but rose all the way to the top of the chain of command.
Did you say Oda Nobunaga? Him? I've heard of. He was the demon king of the Sixth Heaven, no? No? Yes, absolutely. She's very awesome. Don't know why they misspelled it as he. But yeah, she's got long hair and wears a lot of red, and she's, she's especially good as the Avenger class AoE buster. And she's very cute, very cool, but also cute and, silly and cool. She combines all of those traits to be amazing.
True, but that's the title he gave himself.
Huh. Still a pirate and a daimyo. What an enchanting combination.
That may be, but he wasn't blessed where allies were concerned. It seems he was always butting heads with his relatives.
Oh?
For one thing, he may have had his nephew Sumitaka assassinated in order to take over the Kuki clan.
Oops.
He also fought on the opposite side of his own son, Moritaka, in the decisive battle of Sekigahara.
That's a title of a fight you hear about in Japanese culture a lot, Japanese media.
And in the end, spurred on by his vassals, he committed suicide on Toshijima, that island over there.
Toshijima.
So while Kuki became daimyo of Shima province, his land was confiscated during his son's rule, and the clan fell into decline.
Life truly is full of ups and downs. How the mighty do fall. He must have been quite a character.
That reminds me, there's another fascinating legend related to the Kuki clan.
Oh, do tell.
It's about Kuki Yoshitaka's nephew, Sumitaka. He had an extraordinarily beautiful daughter named Princess Hatsune.
Hatsune Miku? Oh my god! I dare say I know where this is going. Whenever a legend starts with a beautiful daughter, it inevitably ends with trouble.
You're not wrong there. Princess Hatsune was so beautiful that she saw no end of suitors, and her father sought to marry her off to achieve his political ends.
Great parenting.
But the princess already had a lover, so she fought against her father's plans, and even ran away several times, only to be brought home.
I knew it. Alas, that's what life was like before the daughters of powerful figures in those days.
Well, Princess Hatsune lamented her fate. Must I be cursed with such misfortune merely for my beauty? And she didn't stop there. May no beautiful daughter be born to this land again. Such was the curse she left behind before throwing herself down a well. And that's why all them bitches here are ugly, am I right?
And she holds up a hand for the high five. And Avi's like, I don't think I can legally high five you right now.
And so ends the legend.
Not what I'd call a happy ending. Unless it's all a lie. The princess may have had good intentions, but I'm sure no one else felt she was doing them any favors. I don't know. Cursing all women completely unrelated to any of this to be ugly forever is not good intentions by any means. Like she might have had a righteous wrath, but directing that at unrelated people is not exactly good intentions.
Good intentions? That isn't how I interpreted it.
Well, what's your take on the story then? I mean, I guess, you know, since she saw herself being beautiful as a curse, that's where the good intentions might be. But,
When authority figures try to force other people's hands, they bring these things upon themselves. It's just asking to get cursed.
Fair enough, I see your point.
Still, the princess did take it a bit far. To me, though, it almost feels like that part was tacked on later. As if someone thought it would make the story more impactful, and that word of it would travel further if the princess killed herself at the end.
If you're right, that would have changed the story completely.
But there's something else that interests me more. Sumitaka became head of the Kuki clan in 1560, but he was so young that Yoshitaka had to be appointed as his guardian. His exact age at the time isn't known, but the common belief is that he was about 8 years old.
Oopsies. Nothing unusual there. Premature inheritances were a common occurrence in those days.
But consider this, when Sumitaka died 24 years later in 1584, he would have been 32 years old.
Yeah. Yes?
Even if we suppose that Princess Hatsune was 15, their ages don't quite add up, do they?
Age differences weren't so much a point of contention back then, but even so, that is a bit odd.
Which begs the question, did Princess Hatsune really exist to begin with?
And even if she did, was she really Sumitaka's daughter?
An agate Makatama was unearthed at the place where the princess was supposedly buried. But that could easily have been planted there to lend credibility to the tale.
Or have been somebody else's. Well, once you start doubting, it's hard not to see lies everywhere.
True, and the pursuit of the unknown starts with belief, doesn't it?
Well said.
A certain occult researcher taught me that once.
You don't say.
Uki, Princess Hatsune. The pirates who became feudal lords. During the Sengoku period, Shima province was home to a number of local clans, among which the Kuki clan was just one of the many pirate clans operating in Issa Bay. Every time, especially when it's Kuki clan, every time I have to think of the Genshin character. I'm sorry, I can't help it. However, things changed when Kuki Yoshitaka correctly read the changing tides and allied himself first with Oda Nobunaga and then Toyotomi Hideyoshi, both powerful figures of the era. Rises to prominence as commander of the Kuki navy, he became the feudal lord of Shima province, founding Toba Castle as his base of operations. While Yoshitaka was in the service of Nobunaga, the head of the Kuki clan was his nephew, Sumitaka, with Yoshitaka serving as his advisor. Despite his position, Sumitaka was a little more than a puppet lord and died young, reportedly due to illness, just 2 years after the Honnoji incident. That's where Nobunaga died, isn't it? However, some theories suggest that he was actually poisoned by Yoshitaka as part of a scheme to seize control of the navy. Show proof. I don't believe it. That guy's my homie, and he would never do such a thing. Because he's Nobunaga's homie. Kuki Sumitaka's daughter, Princess Hatsune, was said to have been a woman of great beauty. Sumitaka planned to marry her off as part of the political marriage. However, Princess Hatsune refused, saying that she had already promised her future to someone else. So it never was brought up whom it was promised to, right? That's a little mysterious, if you ask me.
Upon learning that Princess Hatsune's beloved was a member of an enemy clan, oh, no, there it is, Sumitaka was enraged and insisted that she marry the person he had chosen for her. Although Princess Hatsune made numerous attempts to escape in order to be with her lover, she was caught each time and forced to return home. Despairing of her fate, Princess Hatsune lamented her beauty, blaming it for her predicament, before throwing herself down a well in her sorrow. A well connected to water? She's also a mermaid? Or something. As she did so, she prayed with her last breath that no beautiful women would ever be born in that land again, or so the legend goes.
Despite the tale persevering as part of local folklore, many questions about the accuracy of Princess Hatsune's legend remain, including Sumitaka's age at the time. Oh, I just realized something. Uki Sumitaka died or was assassinated exactly 400 years ago.
So if he was a mermaid then, or something, an immortal then he would still have 400 years left to live. Is that significant?
It is. A special spiritual significance is attached to the periods of 400 years. For instance, the cycle of death and rebirth supposedly lasts 400 years.
So they might have been reincarnated.
And some stories claim that a soul endures for 400 years. Of course, 800-year immortals have twice that lifespan, but as you can see, 400 years is widely considered a good cutoff point.
So there's a chance something happens after 400 years.
Maybe. In any case, we should probably tread carefully here.
It sounds to me as if we're in the right place at the right time.
Ama divers have a long history in the Tobashima region. Evidence indicates that free divers have been fishing in the area since ancient times.
You don't say.
Most notably, it is said that Oben,
don't think we know a character by the name of Ben yet,
who once presented an abalone to Yamatohime no Mikoto, was the very first Ama diver. In fact, there is a shrine dedicated to Oben in Kuzuki that is considered a sacred place to Ama divers of the Tobashima region.
Is that so? She must have been truly legendary.
Moreover, there are several poems in that famous 8th century poetry anthology, Manyoshu, that depict the Ama diving in Shima province. Ama divers also appear in dozens of ukiyo-e from the Edo period. Clearly they were a popular theme.
It's quite incredible to think that their method of fishing has not only endured for so long, but has been recorded in such exquisite detail.
There's another point worth noting. Ama divers have long been likened to mermaids for their skill and grace. You could even argue that the Ama diver culture that is so deeply rooted in this place is interwoven with the region's mermaid legends.
Yeah, that's very likely. By the way, what's with these shots of, where it looks like there are people like either dancing or drowning or something in the water? Ah yes, there's a theory that the mermaids of Isabei were simply Ama divers.
It does seem likely there's a connection between the two. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the originators of the legend.
Perhaps, but I'd be beyond disappointed if that's all there is to it.
Oh, right.
Well, in reality, I would say that that is definitely all, well, most of what it amounts to, but in this game, maybe not.
By the way, there's another legend surrounding the Ama divers of the Tobashima region, regarding something called the Tomokazuki.
The Tomokazuki? I could tell you all about that.
It is believed that an Ama diver may encounter a copy of herself underwater.
Themselves, okay?
Who will then offer her an abalone. If she accepts, the Tomokazuki doppelganger,
Even naming doppelganger,
will drag her to the bottom of the sea, never to be seen again.
Seriously, please don't spring scary stories on me out of nowhere. What, you're not an Ama diver?
That's why the Ama divers of the area wear the Seiman and Doman symbols on them while they dive. It's a tradition that has continued right up to the present day. There must be some reason for it beyond pure superstition.
Interesting. Still not convinced that that is exactly what Yuza saw. Could have been something else, but of course it might just be that.
On another note, the Ama divers of the Tobashima region possessed such exceptional diving skills that in addition to fishing, they also saved people from drowning and fetched objects that had sunk to the seafloor right up until the Meiji era.
Well, it sounds as if they were true diving professionals.
Exactly. In fact, after the Heike were defeated at Danora and were lost beneath the waves.
Oh, we're back to the Heike already. I wasn't aware there was a connection.
Well, after that fateful battle, who do you think they sent to reclaim the legendary sword Kusanagi no Tsurugi from the seafloor? 2 armor divers.
Aha, so their lost and found services were being employed even back then, eh?
And while they were diving, they came face to face with the vengeful spirits of the drowned Heike.
Cersei, please. You're going to give me nightmares.
At least that's what's depicted in the ukiyo entitled In the Western Sea, that diving women encounter the Heike in the depths of the water.
Aha.
That's what that is. But there's a dragon, too.
Such a deep connection. To think the Heike were even once depicted with armor divers. They truly are a symbol of the Isashima region.
Yes, but the setting for that ukiyo is Danora, which isn't anywhere near here. Still, it goes to show that that the armor divers have held a deep connection to the sea for a very long time. And when we're talking about the Tobashima region, armor divers are always going to be the key players.
True. If you ask me, they should be brought up before the pirates.
Mind you, the Navy had a crucial role to play too.
Right, well, as fascinating as all of this has been, Cersei, I'd say it's high time we return to our primary topic of interest here.
Oh, and what would that be?
Mermaids.
Personally, now that we've visited Isa Shrine, I'm more or less satisfied.
Tut tut. Cersei, you disappoint me. We didn't come here purely to chase legends, did we?
And here I was hoping we could move on to buying souvenirs next.
You know perfectly well that the true purpose of my voyage is nothing more or less than a treasure hunt.
Right.
Of course, I'm sure all this information we've been gathering will come in handy as well. Maybe not to him, but to us. First things first, let's head back to the inn. From there, we can plan our next move. I am curious, by the way. You know, at the beginning of the game, the storyteller asked us if we were familiar with the first game's stuff, and we said yes. I do wonder what he tells us if we say no. Maybe we'll check that once we're done with the game or something. Let's stay here, I guess. Meeting plan. Meeting to plan for the true objective, the treasure hunt. So is this treasure hunt the real reason that he mentioned in his thoughts or something before? Now then, I believe it is time we discuss our strategy. Is that like a CD player being charged in the background or something? No, I don't. No, that's the 80s. They didn't have CD players. What is that? Sure. What do you mean by strategy? It would be obvious. It should be obvious. We must reflect on all we've learned if we want to move forward. A porcelain ashtray. Ashtray, rather. Hold on. There's a bot that doesn't show up in your chat, rather in the full chat, but it is here. Deny. I guess by denying it, it auto-banned it or something? I don't know. Well, that saves me some trouble. Porcelain ashtray that came with a room. Ashtrays like these are found just about anywhere, so one can smoke without any worries. That being said, I've noticed people outside still simply dropping their cigarettes onto the ground. Ah yes, having worked in a place where people are allowed to smoke. Even though they all have ashtrays available at all times, you wouldn't believe where the fuck they put their goddamn ash, where it ends up. So antisocial. They are such fucking garbage people. Anyway. Well, I wasn't a smoker to begin with. Good. Oh?
Is this the business card from the guy we met earlier?
It is. We managed to glean some surprisingly good information from that exchange. Say something... Something hey or something. Yep. Ah, hey. Kippe Ikoma. Wait. Wasn't the Ikoma that we heard about dead? Right, wasn't that the guy from the drawing? Wasn't he? And he was dead? Huh.
Flashback.
First things first, let's head back to the inn. From there, we can plan our next move. Pardon me, but would the lovely lady and handsome gentleman be willing to spare me a moment? Why yes, the gentleman does have some time.
I suppose that makes me the lady then. Oh, it's you. You've been following us for quite some time.
Oh, has he? He has? For how long?
Since the Isa Grand Shrine, I believe.
Truly, maybe you could try to keep me apprised of things like this in the future, Cersei? It appears I wasn't as stealthy as I thought. My apologies for the indiscretion. But you see, the two of you piqued my interest. Foreigners in Issa Bay searching for mermaids.
Oh my lord.
Gah, you overheard everything. How embarrassing.
Avi hollering won't lessen the embarrassment.
But how rude of me. I ought to introduce myself.
I'm an event planner here in Issa City. My name is Kippe Ikoma.
I guess the Ikoma that we heard of being dead might be somebody else. Because, right, the Ikoma that we heard about being dead, if I don't have this wrong, has been dead for like a while, right? That corpse was from 4 or 6 years ago or something. The most recent of the ones found with their bodies cut up, with their skeletons rather, cut in twain. So, either this is very mysterious, or it's just somebody else with the name Ikoma, which, even in fiction, I guess, can be a thing. But there's definitely something going on. Case closed. Event planner. Oh, fancy business card and everything. What a charming fellow. Let's see, Sala Planning, eh? And it says here you're the CEO.
I'm actually the only employee, so the title doesn't mean much.
I see. I apologize for the rudeness, but I actually just ran out of business cards of my own.
Did you ever have any?
I had heard you need to carry business cards in Japan if you want to avoid looking suspicious, but I still forgot to bring any. But the freewheeling and forgetful man before you goes by the name Arnav Barnum, a fantasy author who is merely passing through. Do you believe me, or am I too suspicious? Without a business card for proof, the verdict is yours and alone to make.
Arnav sure is a funny guy. So you're an author, Mr. Barnum.
Please call me Abi. This is Cersei. She has studied more Japanese history than even the average Japanese citizen.
It's a pleasure. If you'd like, I can list the top 100 of Issa's best features at any time.
Yeah. Aren't you a delight? I was right to take an interest in the two of you.
Kippe Ikoma,
Event Services CEO.
26. Director of Sala Planning.
A venture company primarily focused on planning and producing tourism promotion. I guess also from this we can't really tell how similar he looks to the drawing. All I can say is that he has a different hairdo than the drawing of the other Ikoma, the other supposed Ikoma. Primarily focused on planning and producing tourism promotion events in Issa City.
An ambitious young man, Kippe is both highly driven and extraordinarily tenacious when it comes to fulfilling his goals. He is currently planning a PR project themed on mermaids, as a sightseeing attraction. Right. About 6 years ago, with the support of wealthy tycoon Yoshiatsu Yamashina, we know that guy,
Kippe moved to Ise from the countryside with nothing but the clothes on his back and an eye to making his fortune. This aggressiveness... Wait, we heard about somebody who did that. Wasn't that the sibling of somebody? I don't remember. This aggressiveness won him Yamashina's favor, and after several years spent building up experience as his assistant, the tycoon granted Kippe an investment with which he started his current build company. Although Yamashina could be said to be particularly strict with him, this is a reflection of the high expectations he has for his future. Or maybe I'm getting things confused. Maybe we heard about the name Ikuma from Yamashina, and he isn't actually the guy from the drawing. Although Yamashina could be said to be particularly strict with him, this is a reflection of the high expectations he has for his future. Kippe is often told that he looks old for his age. I mean, he looks tired, I guess. But as this means he is not taken lightly when doing business, he sees it as an advantage. Maybe he's an immortal. You know, because of the drawing mystery, something, there could be a connection. I don't know, there's still too many questions. Can I find... The drawing probably isn't here, right? Or the mention of the name Ikoma. But the drawing's definitely somewhere. Phenomena? It was somewhere. I think it's shown here, but that one, or is it? Wait. Robust seabed skeletons. Victims' identities are unclear. Wait, all are male. Most recent body dates to about 6 years ago. Okay, so I was right. Facial, blah blah blah. Testimonies indicate that the individual in the sketch resembles a youth by the name of Kippe Ikoma. See, I was right. Who went missing 6 years ago. He has no known relatives, and yet here he is, just going about his day with that exact name. Isn't that strange? Forgive me for my bluntness, but would you mind sparing me a few moments? I'd love to talk a little longer. I suppose that could be arranged. Gusts of wind grace this lovely observation deck. There's gotta be a bird sticker here somewhere, now that we have a different view. It's gotta be! Damn, I can't look any further. Oh, we'll never find another bird. Guess I'm never gonna bird again. Stickers. I thought she was totally absorbed in our sightseeing, yet she noticed that we were being tailed. Impressive, if I do say so myself. Maybe it means that he has some spirit aura thing. Maybe he really is dead. What do you think, Cersei? Feels like a scammer who targets foreign tourists. Quite the blunt one, aren't you, young lady? She might be right. So this young man is actually a CEO, though I'm not sure if I'd call him young. His gaze has a piercing quality to it, and there's something off about his smile. Everything about him feels older than he looks. I believe these oversized suits, known as soft suits, are currently quite popular in Japan. Perhaps he is trying to be taken seriously as a CEO. He certainly is putting a lot of effort into his appearance. That face makes him look so different. Like now all of a sudden he evokes a sense of sympathy. Like he might also almost be cool. Like a guy you can trust and rely on. But I'm not falling for it. You're an enigma. You're dead. There's something. The truth is, I'm currently planning a promotional tourism campaign for the Iseshima region. I was thinking of using mermaid legends as the centerpiece of the campaign. Mermaids, huh? I'm sure you are already quite aware of the mermaid legends of Frisa Bay, yes? I thought we could hold events and exhibitions centered around such legends to attract tourists. I see, so that's why you were interested in mermaids? Additionally, the Isashima region is also famous for its pearls. I believe mermaids and pearls naturally complement one another.
True. There's also the famous legend that a mermaid's tears turn into pearls when they are washed away by the ocean.
There was specific mention that those fish mermaids could cry like humans. Not sure that's intentional or related, but it certainly came to my mind just now. Oh, such a story would do wonders for driving tourism to the area.
Maybe all these scandals just all these happenings around mermaids and death that follow the days after this would ruin that. Or maybe that would drive the tourism even further, and that's why it's happening. They're killing people just for tourism. Does this project mean you are knowledgeable about mermaids and Issa then, Mr. Ikuma? I suppose it does. I know a fair bit. For example, there are some mermaid legends that most people have never heard of. Now that face makes him look very untrustworthy and makes me not sympathize with him anymore. A bad guy you can't trust. Or rely on. Oh, do share. A long time ago, there was an island south of Kamishima known as Taishima. Have you heard of it? I have. I'm afraid I haven't. Have you been playing the game RVGs? It rings a bell. It was also called Taishima by some.
That's absolutely right. It is said that once upon a time, 3 mermaids lived on Taishima. Wow, 3 of them. Tell me, were they human mermaids or fish mermaids? Human mermaids? Well, I suppose their upper bodies were human, so I suppose you could describe them as such. I see. Then that would separate them from the 3 mermaids discovered in Betsuho during the Heian period.
Oh, this is the first I've heard of this tale.
However, Taishima sank about 400 years ago. 400 years ago? During a natural disaster. The mermaids seem to have vanished after that. What? That's such a shame. Regardless, it is said the 3 mermaids here named Sobae, Nagame, and Hayase. Hayase. So the mermaids were named too, huh? That definitely adds to the authenticity of their story.
I still don't really think that's true, but hey, whatever. Pardon me, Mr. Ikuma. I never came across such concrete information. Where did you learn this?
I don't blame you for questioning my sea of sources. I also haven't managed to find any records of this tale. You see, the story was passed down through word of mouth. As it turns out, there was a single man who managed to escape the island's destruction. His descendants have kept the legend alive. A single man. And since it's now 400 years later, maybe they have a reincarnation. Maybe that's our user guy. Or something, since he is a descendant from Taishima, right, supposedly? Aha, so it's one of those descendants you heard the story from. That's right, they live a modest private life these days.
When the story comes straight from a descendant like that, it does lend it some credibility.
I would love to inquire deeper about these Taishima mermaids. If you don't mind, could you share the identity of this descendant you speak of? My apologies, but I'm afraid I cannot oblige. She is not the friendliest sort, so it is the one we know about, probably. Frankly, even I have trouble getting her to open up. No matter how many times I visit her, I always feel like I am only getting part of the story. I see, that's a real shame. Now, this may not be much consolation, but I have another interesting rumor from this descendant to share. Oh, I'm all ears. It concerns one of the rumored Taishima mermaids. It is said that a few decades ago, one of those mermaids turned human and now lives among us. Could be the very person you were talking to earlier. No kidding.
She became human?
It does ring a bell, though. Why, that is exactly like the story of the Little Mermaid. What an exciting discovery.
You say this was only a few decades ago? That makes it quite recent. This former mermaid could even be walking among the people here as we speak.
If the story is true, then yes. However, I'll concede that even I find the story hard to believe. It is a little fast and fantastical. I mean, isn't the entire mermaid thing fantastical? Why is this part harder to believe than the rest, huh? By the way, may I ask why you're searching for Isabei's mermaids, Avi? No particular reason. I just thought it'd be fun to wander through some sightseeing areas related to the mermaid folklore. That's all. Right. No kind of treasure hunt or anything. I see. Well, since you've traveled all the way to Japan to sightsee, I'd love to ask you some questions. Was there anything missing from the areas you've visited that you think might have made your trip more enjoyable? Well, live sightings of mermaids, or like, I don't know, an enactment of that Heike War or something, you know, some real samurai showing up. What about those photo spots you put your face in?
I know those, I love them.
Really? Are they that interesting? They are a Japanese tourism classic. It would be nice to see more of them.
Agreed. If I saw one, I would certainly take a photo with it.
Do they have portable photo?
Photographs? No.
Cameras! Jesus fucking Christ. Do they have portable cameras in this? I guess the 80s they probably did, yeah.
Oh, and please sell more of those little pennant flags. I can't resist them.
I see. I truly appreciate the input, but perhaps things are fine as they are. Well, if he is responsible for merchant shit, then he could very well be responsible for the mirrors, no? But I'm not sure if he is. Should you discover anything new regarding the area's mermaids, please let me know. Understood. We hope you'll do the same for us. Amazing. A brand new mermaid legend.
The real question is why.
Why?
There's a long history of people making up legends to drive tourism. Such stories linger on, despite their veracity being entirely unverifiable.
I suppose. Is something the matter?
It's nothing.
It's nothing. Well, it is about time for us to get going. Yes, of course. Thank you, and I apologize again for taking so much of your time. Actually, since you've come all the way to Japan. If anything happens to you during your vacation here, or you need any other help at all, please feel free to give me a call. I am quite familiar with all sorts of businesses in the area. For example, I could put you in touch with someone should you be looking to interview ama divers. Oh, really? That's very kind. You're not just saying it as a formality, are you? A free-spirited lad like myself will not hesitate to take you up on an offer like this. I will call you. Please do not hold back. I'll leave you two to your sightseeing. Please have a good time. What a helpful lad. If mermaids really did live on Taishima, it's certainly worth investigating. Was this here before? Mosquito repellent, that's what that is. Each room is equipped with a mosquito trap. They tend to come in through the windows on hot days. It's a neat contraption. You just have to plug it in and place it, and it will kill any nearby mosquitoes. Traps like these are reliable, as well as easier and safer than the combustible type, so they've gotten quite popular.
I should look into having one of those.
This is the Murakumote. It's a small inn located in Toba. It's a laid-back inn that feels more like a private residence than a hotel thanks to the attentive staff. I could barely count all the different fresh fish we were served for dinner last night. I have not felt so full in a while. A hanging scroll perfectly complements the tatami room.
This room may not have a dedicated alcove, but the scroll still really ties the room together. How lovely.
Light is passing through the windows. It's hot outside, so I leave them closed. Dried flowers. I suppose this is the embodiment of the Japanese concept of wabi-wabi, or however you say it.
I think you're speaking of wabi-sabi.
Maybe. My bag. A faithful travel companion of several decades. Some of the notes I've taken, the information in them is not substantive and likely of no use.
Are you saying it's no use?
Extra lights for the room. A lot of attention was paid to creating a comfy atmosphere for the guests. It may resemble an L-shaped dividing screen, but I think this is actually a towel rack.
You're close. It's a small clothes rack.
I see, so that's what it is.
Yes, normally it's used to hang kimonos, but this one is quite small, so I suppose it'd work well for towels and other small garments.
You're quite knowledgeable.
That's her thing, yeah.
On top of having super good psychic power stuff. The door to our room outside is a hallway with a restroom and wash basin for communal use. Guests place their shoes in the cubbies at the entrance and wear slippers while inside the inn. This is a poster advertising the island of Kamishima.
I'd love to pay a visit to a remote island like that. The name's intriguing too.
You probably will never go there. Ah, Kame means turtle, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It's a poster of Kamishima.
I just can't shake this weird feeling that the turtle is looking at us.
Huh? Why? Is there something wrong with the island or the poster?
The poster, I believe. Do you mind if I take a closer look?
What if is there a bird sticker behind it?
My hunch was right. There's a presence here.
No way. Come on, don't scare me like that.
Remove it.
Ready?
Yes, please proceed.
You sure? Because I do it, I really will. There's no telling what may happen.
Quit stalling.
Aha! Huh.
Let's go.
Number 3. This phone can only be used to call the front desk. Outside calls are impossible.
What about the police? Can we make emergency calls?
I worried yesterday that Cersei might struggle to sleep on just a futon in a tatami room just like this, but she looks well rested, so I suppose she's used to it. I, on the other hand, was too excited to get much sleep.
Well, I trust your strategizing is going well.
Indeed, there are just a few things I have to check.
Like what? Well, I don't know.
Okay. Suppose we gotta go through all of this first. This is a sketch of the mermaid mummy that I found in the family storage.
Oh, you found that. And you drew that. Oh.
Bringing it along would have been out of the question, so I settled on just bringing a sketch. Oh, that's right. I still haven't told Cersei why I'm searching for mermaids. I thought with all of this stuff there'd be a lot to look at, but most of this just counts as research materials.
This map looks quite old.
Exactly. It is also the precise reason I have come to Mir. To put it simply, this is no ordinary map, this is a mermaid treasure map.
Oh. A mermaid treasure map?
Allow me to explain. I found this mermaid treasure map in the family storage. I should explain it to Cersei.
Explain it to her by talking, I suppose.
I found this map in the old family storage. It was left behind by my great-grandmother.
If she's your great-grandmother, that would make her my great-grandmother's sister.
Huh.
I heard she was exiled from the Lunalight family because of her eccentricities.
That's correct. She was quite fond of the occult and amassed a number of suspicious curios over her lifetime. As a child, I loved searching through the storehouse that housed her collection. It was like a treasure hunt of wonders. A demon's tail, a yeti's bone, a book of black magic, Ogopogo's tooth, a piece of a UFO, a crystal skull. I cannot vouch that any of it was authentic, but it was still so exciting to look through. It's no exaggeration when I say that this very storehouse is what led me down the path of becoming a fantasy author.
I suppose that's the kind of formative experience an occult writer needs.
Just so, I have to thank my great-grandmother. She's the reason I can put full food on the table. And among the items in that collection was this.
I see, a mermaid mummy.
Precisely. They were rather prevalent at sideshows and the like all over the world in the 19th century. Mermaid mummies from Japan were quite popular because of their high quality. A number of them even made their way to Europe.
Huh.
This one probably made its way to the family storage around that time. It was probably passed from one seller to another until it ended up in my great-grandmother's hands.
How are you so sure it was made in Japan?
It said made in Japan on the tag. Well, you see, I gave this mummy a thorough investigation, and when I poked it, it said Itai, which is Japanese for ouch. I even took it apart. Sure enough, it was made of wood and paper clay. But lo and behold, I also found this map inside.
Truly? You found the map inside a mummy?
Whoever made it all those years ago must have snuck the map inside. I doubt my great-grandmother had the slightest idea it was even in there.
Unless she put it in there somehow, I don't know. That's an incredible discovery.
It is simply tantalizing, is it not? There's not a doubt in my mind that it will lead to a most thrilling discovery.
So then, why did you call this the mermaid treasure map?
Well, it was hidden inside a mermaid mummy, so it follows it must be a treasure map of sorts, yes? No?
I mean, I guess. I see. Your enthusiasm has carried you quite a ways from home. I'm impressed.
Thank you. I have no doubt our treasure lies somewhere in Issa Bay.
What a shame there's no X to mark the spot.
Indeed, and this leads us to our first conundrum. Any ideas how to decipher this map, Cersei?
Put me on the spot, why don't you? But it does look like something is written here. Do you know what it says?
Oh, that part. I actually did some research on that. Apparently it says, search the 95th.
Search the 95th? That sure makes it sound like it leads to a secret location of some sort.
Yes, and it must be related to mermaids. Aren't you just itching to find it?
You know it.
I knew it. I'm counting on you to help me solve the map's riddle. I'm not sure it has to be related to mermaids from that, but hey. Oh wait, I just remembered. You said you can dowse, no? Can't you just douse for the treasure? Then we can skip this whole map and riddle business altogether.
But don't you want to figure it out yourself? I apologize, but that's impossible.
Truly, but why?
Dowsing is usually used to find waterways, veins of ore, and other such things. My dowsing, however, can be used to find people and objects imbued with spiritual power. However, I must be familiar with the spiritual power that I'm looking for.
I see. In other words, you wouldn't be able to find a treasure you've never seen or heard of. Yeah, you know, we've heard or read spiritual sense being likened to a sense of smell. And so, similarly, right, if you told a dog to find the smell, find like a treasure by smell, it wouldn't fucking find it if it hadn't already, you know, been familiar with the smell beforehand. So, this is similar, right? That's my interpretation. Yes, the distance from which I can detect the source also depends on how strong the spiritual power is. Sense of smell very similar, isn't it?
It's not quite the superpower
it's not quite the superpower I thought it was.
I say we've had enough of a diversion. Let's get back to investigating your map.
Feeling embarrassed about how your power isn't all that great. Even though it's probably still great.
I say we've heard it.
I guess she wants us to look at it again. Let's take a look. Wait, now I'm worried that by doing this I will accidentally, you know, leave this scene. Which isn't that bad because we can go back to it, but then we'd have to go back to it. Oh?
Oh?
Did you notice something? Something on the back?
It looks like something's written on the other side.
Please tell me you've checked that before, please. Please tell me you didn't neglect to check the backside. I see. I knew I must have missed something. Please, Avi. I should carefully hold the edge when I want to look at the other side. Well, let's first look at it like this. The phrase "search the 95th" is written on the map around the location of Isa province. It's a map of Isa Bay. Judging from its condition, it's quite old.
If I were to guess, I would say it's over 100 years old. No, perhaps even more than 200 years old. I wonder how old it really is.
Maybe 400 years old?
Look closer, isn't that Taishima?
You're right. It depicts an island to the south of Kamishima.
I'm having trouble even seeing Taishima. Kamishima.
Whatever. It's safe to assume this map was made before Taishima sank then.
That makes it over 400 years old. And made during the Sengoku period. Incredible.
What a find. Cersei, do you recognize the symbol on the lower right? Doesn't it look similar to the card? What's it called again? Business card that we just got? Didn't that have a similar logo on it?
It appears to be quite similar to Sanskrit. However, I don't recall a character quite like this one. It may be a mark unique to the cartographer, like a signature.
If that's the case, it's irrelevant to our investigation.
I agree, though my opinion will change should we come across the symbol elsewhere.
Yeah. Spots. Maybe it's a star chart, right? This is like the triangle that we heard and learned about. Eureka. What, are we playing Ace Attorney Investigations now?
Take a close look at the spots on the back of the map.
Oh, those. I dismissed them as a bunch of stains. Well, at least now we know that he did check. He just didn't get it.
Do you really think that's all they are?
I don't.
Something about those spots feels familiar.
These are the characters we did do that stargazing with.
Let me save again.
And then try that Eureka. Whoops, no. Eureka! Inspiration strikes. I figured it out.
It's a bit hard to see what you mean when looking at the back of the map. Can you point at the front?
What? No.
No.
Ah, you make a fair point. I may be less inspiration struck than I first assumed. I'll have to think on this a bit more. Well, okay, in that case... Is this similar? It's Ikuma's business card. He's the CEO of the event planning company we ran into earlier. Can't take a closer look at. I'd say they're kind of similar. Right? It's kind of hard to tell because I think this one's upside down here.
I believe I've noticed something about the map. Would you like me to share my discovery?
You have? Wait, is that like a hint that I don't need to get? No, I will solve this through my own grit, or so help me God.
Understand. Keep it up.
Well, let's talk about the other thing then. Maybe we need to have this knowledge before we're allowed to solve. To be frank, I didn't just come here to solve the map's riddle. My real goal is to find an actual mermaid.
Oh yes, I had a feeling that was it.
So the mermaid hunt is the main goal, and the treasure hunt is the secondary thing, not the other way around. So you already knew. Exorcists sure have some keen instincts.
What will you do if you find a mermaid? Do you want to become immortal?
I suppose. Might as well, considering all the trouble finding one will be.
Your reasoning is unexpectedly inspired.
I mean, hey, if he's, if he's interested in finding them for other reasons, then he might as well get some use out of it too, right? Simple though it may be, I find the idea quite romantic, akin to ascending to a new state of humanity.
Sure, I guess.
I take it you disagree with my thinking, Cersei?
I fail to see why my opinion should matter here. What you do is your decision to make. Though I'm not certain that an immortal can still be called human. Still, your decision is irrelevant to my duty, so I would not try to interfere. Actually, meeting an immortal would be a rare once-in-a-lifetime chance. Please transcend humanity and let me examine you.
I prefer if you didn't speak of me like a research specimen, but I'll overlook it for now.
Though I do wonder if immortality would actually bring you any happiness. When you look at old folktales, it tends to be less of a blessing and more of a curse.
Geez, don't say that after I already made up my mind and everything. You know, here's my 2 cents on the entire immortality is bad. Oh, actually, you don't really want to be immortal thing. That's just people coping, okay? They just want to fight the urge. They want to be like, okay, I can't actually get immortal. That's sadly not a real thing. So I'm going to make it sound like being immortal is actually a bad thing, so that I'm not sad anymore. And I keep telling myself that. That's the real reason. Of course, immortality would be good. Come on. Don't be stupid. Of course, there is a chance that immortality could end up being bad for you, but come on, bro. Anyway.
Well, I'm sure you'll be alright. If you're tired of immortality, you need only embark on a journey like a modern-day Yao Bikuni.
That is one way to look at it, though I think the nun part might be an issue.
You could be a priest instead, right? That's not a big deal.
Well, I shouldn't get too far ahead of myself. There's no immortality to be had till I find mermaid flesh to bite into. So let's start there.
Understood. I'm also quite interested in finding a mermaid myself. Searching just for mermaid meat alone seems like a waste.
Agreed. The best way to go about this would be to find a living human mermaid. And I have no doubt that this map will lead us to a place that's related to mermaids and immortality.
This is quite exciting.
Now this is what I call a true adventure. No matter the era, there's nothing better than a quest for the unknown. Any other spots to
to examine? No? Maybe 95th is one of those stars, something that, you know... Was something about numbers mentioned with when we talked about that constellation? Probably here, right? Traditions history actually would probably be it. What? Apparently not. Summer triangle, there it is. 95 or any other numbers? No. 95, 95, 14, 67, 69, 420. There's also Hercules, just noticed. I don't really know what 95 could mean. I guess if we... Well, that can't be it. If we were supposed to know Japanese well enough to solve this riddle, then I feel like they would have given us some info, you know, because my thinking just now was that we take, you know, 9-5 and pronounce them like in Japanese, right? That could be like Kugo or something. But I feel like that would not be fair to most people playing this game in English. Also, Kugo doesn't really, or like Kyugo, Kuitsu, or, you know, that doesn't really fit. Could also be like Koko no Itsu, Koko no Kugo, I don't know. Anyway, probably not it. Skimming over it again just to see if there are numbers mentioned here after all. But I don't think so. We could, of course, just, you know, follow the... either each of the main, you know, spots of the triangle which are drawn in on the backside and check those on the other side. Or like the middle point of it all. But that, you know, that still leaves the N95 completely unaccounted for. There isn't anything else to gain info from on this map, at least. Let me take another look around just to make sure I haven't missed anything else. Maybe we can talk about the map again one more time now that we've talked about, exhausted the other topic. And that'll give us the last bit of information that we need. Alright, no, she can give us a hint, but we don't want it. Unless we need it, maybe you have to get this. I guess 9-5 could also refer to the clock position or something. But I feel like that wouldn't really fit either. If it's like 400 years old. I guess I'm not sure, but I feel like at the time Japan wasn't really using, let's say, the current clock standard, right, with the circle stuff. I don't know. But I feel like that might not have been a thing over there. And so I feel like that's probably not it. And even if it was, that, I don't know, 9-5 would be like... Yeah, I don't know that. Anyway, let's try hitting Eureka and maybe that'll allow us to do something. Eureka! Did you? Where's the treasure?
Can I turn it over again so I can look at the triangle? Like it was like... Shit, dude. Over here. I've no doubts, it's here, behold.
Huh? Why there?
It felt right?
I hope you don't mind my asking, but would you care to show me a more definite location?
Dang it. I may be less inspiration struck than I first assumed. I'll have to think on this a bit more. So the middle of this thing would be like here-ish. So I guess it would be more to the right if we turn it around.
But that's probably not it. That seems weird. 95.
Maybe I ought to ignore the 95 part. I wish I could just turn it around while having my mouse here or something, you know. Well, mouse, I'm using a controller, but you know what I mean, the cursor.
Okay, how about I take a screenshot
And then try to map it out with the help of that on the other side. So the top part would be like here-ish, maybe? And then the other one would be like here-ish, maybe? And then here-ish, maybe? I don't know, man. I guess it could be, if this, I guess this could be Kamishima. And then it would make sense for, you know, the spot to be Kamishima. For gameplay reasons mostly, but also because one of the one of the constellation pieces sits there. I'll try it, but I don't know why that particular point would be 95, or it's just that particular triangle piece. Nope.
It may be tough to figure out as it is now, unless you find a way to shine some light on the riddle.
Shine some light? Ah, now I can see the dots. Okay. Thanks for that hint. That's cute. So that is not where the dot is. Still not sure though, even that I'm seeing this now. Like it wouldn't just happen to be one of those three, right? That would still just be guesswork. Like in the middle there somewhere. Makes some sense to me. Or maybe I just gotta hit a Eureka while looking at this. I'm on fire now, no more mistakes from me.
I figured it out.
This one, the one dot in the middle here. Let me use my actual mouse to make it more precise. There we go. Nope.
The map is very lovely and see-through. Are you sure that's the spot though?
No, maybe less than... Okay. Maybe it just says 9-5 somewhere. This looks not like a 9 or 5, I feel like. But maybe that is what it is supposed to look like. Like you could kind of see it as a 9, like maybe a 5. Not really though. I mean, I don't know. Also, that wouldn't really have anything to do with this. Anything else stand out? I don't like doing guesswork here because it's probably something where you're like, oh, now I get it. But just to make sure, I'm gonna try this silly thing here. No, okay, good. Huh. Is that the 95 thing has to be a hint for this, right? Wish I could see it again. Where was that? Like, what exactly was the wording? Maybe it was in gameplay guide, just like this here for some reason. Why is this here anyway? Seems out of place. Let's see if there's anything else in here after all. Maybe it's got something to do with this. I don't know. Summer triangle is visible in the sky almost directly overhead around August. That can't really be it, can he? Sapper facing southwest and looking low in the sky to find Antares, the brightest red heart of the constellation Scorpius. From there, look straight up and you should spot Vega near the zenith. I don't want to get a hint, but I need more info, and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I have to be missing something. Like, sure, I could just go pressing each of these dots, you know. But that, once again, seems like guesswork. Like, I guess, hey, this is the closest one to these islands, so haha, but that's not good enough of a reason for logic to be applied here, you know, rather than just, oh, this is a game about these regions, so it's gotta be close to this. That can't be the way to solve it. Shine some light on it, yeah. I don't know if we can scroll back far enough to find anything of value. Best way to go about this would be to find a living true adventure. Take a look. No, wait, this is... no. I guess I'll try this one, but once again, I'm not happy about it. Oh, and what makes you say so? Why, it is simple. This very spot marks the answer to our riddle. Oh, so we can't just guess, okay. Is the name of the location? Oh, maybe it's something we can't actually know until we play some other parts first. Oh, maybe that's the thing. But maybe I can't find it in the files already.
What is it called? Oops. You know that spot with the fucking where the mermaids come from or something, maybe? Oh, I guess Urugu, maybe? Maybe that's the thing? I was thinking of the other one, like the something realm or something, but Urugu might be better. Hmm. I don't think this is it. Nah. Seriously? I can't imagine that's actually Ryugu. Yeah, I may be less inspiration struck than I first assumed. I'll have to think on this a bit more. Well, let's look at the Sankak again. The triangle. That won't be our tear. Hikoboshi. I guess that doesn't really help. Taishima would be, like, above that, I think. Or maybe that's where it is. No, I don't. No. No, not Nakabetbo. I'll try. No, if this map is old, so this would be Taishima, right? This would be Taishima, this is Kamishima. So this is... I mean, it's in that line, I guess, but is that what we care about? I think maybe we're better off going to the story chart and coming back here after getting some other intel. Is a bay. See, on this one, there's Kamishima, but not the other island. But it is on that line, right? Betsuho? No, that's not it either. So that's the disaster. Doesn't show a real location, but maybe fisherman south of Kamishima. And I think the location of this was pretty much Taishima, right? But what we're looking at is below that, south of that, rather. Lived on Taishima. No. But now we know that... Well, no, we're now in the all category, so I guess that's why that is here. I thought it was... We found it somewhere other than gameplay, but maybe it... Whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Man. share the storage out. Any incomplete chapters must be restarted from the beginning. I don't want to do that, so it makes me think that we're not... that we don't need to do that. We don't need info from other chapters. But that makes me feel stupid. And I don't want the hint. Fuck! So we're looking for at Hikoboshi. Serabi Orihime and Hikoboshi, two central figures of Tanabata legend, romantic imagery, star-crossed lovers, Milky Way, visible in the sky, almost directly, blah. We've found out, mostly via trial and error, that that is the spot. But what are we looking at? If I could at least find out the name of that place that I'm trying to think of. But maybe it's just something, you know, more factual than that. Right, that's the Tales of Ise. All these tales about a man. Right, this is that again. Here's Kamishima. But on the map, there was no island on the dot, so it couldn't be one of these. Man, why does it say anything, man? Maybe here? Eternal world. That's the word. Is that gonna be the solution though? I don't know. But you know, that would also be Ryugu, so I feel like if one was correct, the other one would probably be count too. Eternal world. Well, guess we're trying it. Kind of looks like a face, right? There's the eyes, and then there's big old O mouth, like oh. This very spot marks the answer to our riddle. That sounds different from the first time. Also, did they even... I guess they must have heard of the Eternal World too, right? But that's probably not the answer now. Yeah, that doesn't even fit. um... 95... Yeah. Fuck, man! I'm so drawing a blank. I feel so dumb. Also, I gotta go talk to some idols, so let me do that. Maybe once my idol senses are less full, maybe then I'll realize what I was missing the entire time. Let me just change this text here. BRB.
Well, let's see if I can now think of something. What if we turn around and look through the window? Hey, that also works. That's nice. Doesn't change anything, of course, but it's nicer. Now she can't see it anymore, though. I guess no, now she can see what we're seeing, you know? That's good. Yep, that's exactly the right way to do it. I don't think turning it over will change anything here. "95 actually stands for 9 to 5. It's like a job, you know, it's like your work. So check your work. That means nothing. Check your own hands. I have no idea right now. Can I hear the thing about 95 again, please? That's bothering me. It might not even be fucking related to anything, but I need to hear it again. I need to know. Maybe if we check one of the things, one of the pieces here, maybe if we check this again. Nothing. Well, shit. Why this one in particular? And what is there? Like this is Kamishima, this must be Taishima. I don't recall hearing about anything south of Taishima that was very important. Oh, I'm so bothered by this now. Maybe if we check Taishima again, maybe there's something in there that I was overlooking. Okay. Said have previously been located to the south of Kamishima, as long since Taishima, Lost Island. No official records remain, and it remains shrouded in mystery. Legends say the island was besieged by someone 400 years prior, and the curse of the murdered islanders caused the entire island to sink. Yeah, that doesn't tell us anything. Maybe I'm just supposed to type in treasure. That's where the treasure is, but that would be fucking dumb. I'll try it even though it seems stupid, and I'll read this again just in case. Oh, there's nothing there really. What makes you say so? Quite simple. This very spot marks the answer to a riddle. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Treasure. No, that's stupid. Wait, no, this is where the 95 is written, right? Yes, search the 95th. God, that's where it was the entire time. It's written on the map around the location of Isa province. Maybe there's a number of provinces or something. So let me check that again. Written on the map around the location of Isa province. Isashima? Isa city? Oh, the 100, but that wouldn't have been a thing 400 years ago. You know, the 100 sightseeing spots or whatever. But we don't really have a list of them. I guess one other thing... We don't know the 95th one, do we? You know. No, wait, we do! Wait! Ah! Episode 95, Hikoboshi. Buh. Let's see. So, okay, I think we finally found out why we are looking for 90... Okay, but I should have thought of this earlier. Okay. But hey, we finally found it, and now let's read this again. A woman who serves in the imperial court. A man finally managed to meet her after patiently waiting for the right moment. However, the two are still separated by a screen. As the poem to her, love for the Hikoboshi's love for Orihime. It compares the screen separating to Milky Way, separates the two legendary lovers, moved by the So do I type in Hikoboshi or or what? I guess I'll try that. You know, that's much more of a real thing than anything else I typed in. Just kind of on a raw guess almost. Come on. Yeah. Oh, shit. Allow me to explain. You see, the 95th in the riddle must refer to the 95th tale in the Tales of Isa. See, I nailed it. I totally had it the entire time. No guesswork. I had it figured out from the beginning. I was just messing around because I know how entertaining it is for me to waffle about doing absolutely nothing. And the title of that tale is none other than Hikoboshi. Next, note how the summer triangle constellation is drawn on the back. The location of Hikoboshi, or Altair, responds to this very spot on the map. Incredible! I should have expected nothing less. You truly are a genius, Avi. I feel like she figured that out before me and is just playing along now. Nothing compares to the rush of a breakthrough. Let's keep riding this high. Solve the mystery of the map as Arnav Barnum. Cool. I figured out where the treasure lies. I'm quite keen to investigate further, but I should confirm some other matters first. Was that achievement for not having her solve it for me, or Is it just an achievement that you get anyway? You know, based on story progression or something?
Even if we were to search the area on the map, it's in the middle of the sea. How are we supposed to search a place like that
With the help of an armor diver. Or something.
Looking for an unknown object somewhere on a large swath of seafloor seems like an impossible task.
You're right, that does sound difficult. We might have to ask our friendly CEO for help.
He did give us his card. However, wouldn't that mean we'd have to inform him of the map?
No other way about it. That might be bad news. In addition, should we find anything, I imagine he'd expect a share of the spoils. I really wanted to keep it all to myself. Sharing is the worst.
I understand, but we have no other options.
Do we not? It's a shame, but I suppose you're right.
Yeah, what? Why? Come on.
Surely there are other options. We should contact him as soon as we can.
No.
More.
Well, let's ride this high, as he said.
Ask Kipe Ikoma to investigate it on their behalf. However... The next day. Hello, this is Ikoma. I'm calling about the seafloor investigation. I asked an armor diver to investigate the area because I was keen to get results as soon as possible.
Why is that?
What's your interest in this, Your interest in this? However, she has not returned.
Uh-oh.
Is that how... how the lady dies, or died, or got cursed? Which is why we're headed out there ourselves to assess the situation. We've nothing else to do, after all.
So he asked an armor diver to investigate the seafloor in the area.
Yeah, just like I said, we didn't need him for that. I guess in a place like this, it would be faster to hire an armor diver than a regular diver. Even in this age, you can still get some armors to do contracted dives, huh? It appears she was contracted to investigate for about an hour, at which point she was to return, even if empty-handed. I suppose the intent was just for her to survey the area to start with.
However, several hours passed with no word from the diver. I can see why Ikoma is worried.
We'll start by checking out the location. We can request a police search after, if need be. Cersei, do you have a bad feeling about this?
I do, ever since we first heard about this.
I see. I guess actually, by this point, the lady wouldn't have disappeared yet because we know that they afterwards, right, in the presence of the other two, make contact with her in some way. So this has to be an unrelated or at least a different diver. Also, I guess she wasn't necessarily a diver. Anyway.
There's a strong negative spirit energy in the air that has only intensified as we approach the spot. Something happened here. Happened there.
The diver didn't make it back. Is it safe for us to go?
I have a talisman that repels evil. It should be fine.
Ah. Well, if you say so. Worst comes to worst, we'll reunite in the afterlife. Great.
Understood. Leave it to me.
There's something there. Nope, it's probably her boat. That must be the armor diver's boat. There doesn't appear to be anyone around. How unsettling.
You're right. There's something terrible here.
Is it really that bad? The rope is still, pointing into the water. Maybe if we pull on it, we'll pull her out and save her. She can probably hold her breath for a couple hours, right? She's like rank 69 or something.
It is. I can tell even from this distance it's coming from the bucket.
Oh.
It's saturated with sinister spiritual energy. There's some real powerful curse inside.
Inside the bucket? Does that mean the armor diver found something on the seafloor and brought it up to the surface? And perhaps succumbed to the curse while trying to get it out? Or maybe it was one of those Tomo whatevers that put the box there and stole away the person as a trade almost or something.
Yes, unfortunately. As we cannot say for certain what misfortune this curse may call forth, I need you to remain cautious.
Can you dispel curses, Cersei?
It depends on the curse itself, but I believe I may be able to handle one of this caliber.
Oh, okay. That's a relief. Is it really safe for us to approach that boat, though?
Yes, it's fine. For me, at least.
Understood. If anything happens to me, then I'll leave the rest to you. Great. You know, he was described as that kind of person.
Oh my, there's a small metal box in the bucket.
Metal? Looked like wood to me, but whatever.
This has to be the source.
Can we take it?
Yes, provided I can overpower the malice it's engulfed in. Ha! That was it. It should be safe to touch now. I'll leave that part to you.
Oh, no problem.
It has that same symbol, though, as the map did.
It's pretty heavy. What do you think this box is exactly?
It appears to be quite old. It likely dates back to the same time period as your map.
It's got a crack, though.
Yeah, take a look at the symbol on the top of the box. Do you recognize it from anywhere?
I saw it on the map. Oh, this is that strange symbol we saw on the map.
It's thus fair to say that the map was leading us toward this exact box.
Potentially. That only makes its identity all the more intriguing. There's something strange. There's some strange lines on the side. Perhaps it is some sort of pattern. Maybe. Yeah, kind of looks like an island view from the side or something. It appears to open from the top, but it's not budging at all. It would take quite a lot of strength to force it open.
I believe this box has been sealed with powerful spiritual energy.
And if we get to the correct spot for this to, have the same view or something, then we can open it.
It was probably sealed by a skilled sorcerer a long time ago. I doubt it will open by any normal means.
I can feel something shifting whenever I turn it. There must be some kind of mechanism inside.
Then I suppose you'll want to align the box with the spiritual energy of this place.
In English, please.
It is likely that the mechanism for unlocking the box is activated by orientating the box in the right directions in the right order.
I see. So I have to figure out where to point it. Leave it to me. The weather is great, and the sea is calm, yet there's something unsettling in the air.
Yeah, I feel it too.
Are you trying to scare me? What, you said it first. We don't have one of those Kameshimaru gadgets here, so we are doomed. The closest shore to us is the east side of the Shima Peninsula. You got a good view from here. I think I can see all the way from Ijika to Kuzaki.
That's right. Both have a lot of armor, but Kuzaki is especially known for as a holy ground for armor divers.
Far shore, as we see here, is Toba's, Arashima, and Uramura, I believe.
I heard Uramura District's oyster harvest is so plentiful that you can find all-you-can-eat clam buffets from fall to winter here.
Really? We should have come during a different season. I would have loved some fresh oysters. I think that's the remote island of Sugashima, with Toshijima visible just beyond.
Toshijima is the place where the pirate daimyo Kuki Yoshitaka apparently took his life.
Distant island. That island may look isolated, but it's actually Kameshima. There was a poster for it at the end.
Wow.
Well, what's so amazing about it?
I can feel a horrible presence even from all the way over here. Almost like some kind of curse. How can I best put it? Like some persistent heavy grudge. I think it's something, it's coming from the island south.
It looks quite normal to me. Is it really that bad?
It is. I'd rather not go there. It'll make me feel sick.
And yet eventually we did end up close enough for you to feel sick. The boat of the armor diver who found the metal box. There is not a trace of life left on it. According to Ikoma, the armor diver went to investigate alone, without a companion to mind the boat. I swallowed my fear and tugged on the rope earlier, on the off chance that she was still down there somewhere. I pulled up the whole length of the rope, but no one was tied to it. Okay, so they did try it. Good stuff. A fishing boat without a soul aboard drifts on the lonely waves. I thought getting rocked by the waves on a small boat like this might make her seasick, but she looks fine so far. I had no idea we'd encounter a curse today. It's a good thing Cersei was here. I thought he'd once again go like, I, on the other hand, am gonna throw up in minutes. But not this time, I suppose.
It's possible this area is key to getting the box open, so we should try to figure it out before leaving.
Got it.
It's possible this area is key to getting the box.
Okay. Now to solve this. This is definitely the spot indicated by the map. Oh. I'm not sure I really understand it, but I'll take out the box anyway. If I need any help, I can always ask Cersei.
We don't need help. Ever!
Now then, how to open this metal box? I should investigate the box and rotate it so I can get a good look at it at all four sides. Yeah, I can't seem to, like, investigate it to get any text on it or whatever.
But look, there's a 1 dot.
There are 4 dots, so this is probably the last one we need to do, I guess.
This is number 2.
Number 3. So we start here, I guess.
This looks promising, maybe?
Yeah, I think this looks kind of promising. Could be like, this maybe? Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, okay. Oh, I felt something move inside the box. I must be on the right track.
Nice, keep at it.
And then we try to find this one next, which I assume is going to be on the opposite side, but who knows. Could also be here, actually. That looks kind of right. Alright, I'm on fire. That's 2. Oops, actually that was... Oops, This one's 3. This seems also like it might be on the right track, maybe... No? I guess it's this here. Huh. It's here, I found it.
Good job, just 1 left.
Whoops. Maybe this one actually... Okay, this is probably Kamishima and... Yep. Taishima, that isn't there anymore. Yes, it opened. It's open.
Congratulations, what's inside?
Let's see. A receipt? Shit, now I gotta pay some debt for somebody who died 400 years ago. The interest is gonna kill me. Huh? What is this?
Oh.
Some kind of small wooden carving.
Oh?
Curse stone acquired. Curse of the Forsaken Fish. Our first one, after hours of playing already. That sure is different. That's a fish mermaid. Whoa, something came out.
Terrible pain, I want to go. No, it hurts.
Yikes, what is this? Make it stop. Help me! It hurts. I'm guessing Cersei can't see this. A deep and painful, resentful memory has invaded my mind.
Drift forever, Illadurs, be as fish, perish.
You have acquired the Curse of the Forsaken Fish Curse Stone. You can use it to turn people into fish and kill them when they are submerged in the water of Issa Bay. So that's the one that did those things. But surely we are not the one to blame for those things happening, are we? It can even be used at a distance, provided the target meets the requirements. Yeah. Press the use curse button when you wish to use the curse. Which will be never. We're gonna be innocent. A curse born from the final moments of Hayase, one of the 3 mermaids, right? A mermaid brutally tortured to death by humans on Taishima around 400 years ago. But from what we heard, the mermaids on Taishima were supposed to be human mermaids. So I guess that wasn't entirely true. The curse has the power to kill any human submerged in the waters of Issa Bay by gradually turning them into a fish starting from their feet. However, the excruciating pain suffered during the transformation often results in them dying before the metamorphosis is complete. The bodies of those who succumb to the curse decay almost instantly, shriveling up into desiccated, fibrous masses. The curse can also be triggered remotely, provided that the curse bearer knows the victim's exact location. Oh, so don't even have to see them. Which makes armor divers who go, diving regularly, like on a schedule, easy prey. From anywhere in the world. But they still have to be in the Issa waters. But still. Mermaids inherently possess the ability to turn humans into fish at will. Oh. The curse of the Forsaken Fish is the result of that ability being turned into a conditional curse and sealed within the curse stone. Seems pretty good. But obviously it's not going to be that useful outside of water. In fact, it's going to be useless for the most part. I guess you could still use it to threaten, but whatever. What the hell was that?
I'm not certain. But I believe we may have just acquired a cursed tool known as a curse stone.
Okay, so she did see it? Maybe just because she has strong spirit sense? Or maybe because she was close enough to us?
However, they are rarely possessed by such powerful curse echoes. How lucky.
If you truly are congratulating me, then I'll happily celebrate with you. But can I ask you something first?
Of course.
Am I cursed? Am I going to die?
I wouldn't say you are cursed per se.
We've heard something similar.
There was a similar case in Tokyo last year.
Okay, so now we are confirming basically that was last year, right? The first game. Hold on for a minute. I cannot think straight. This is far too overwhelming. An incredible amount of information flooded my mind just now. I need a moment to settle before I can take in anything else.
You must mean the resentful memory held by the curse. It's a phenomenon when the events leading up to the curse forming are passed onto the curse bearer, so that it's a gradual spread.
Also, wait. The events of the last game basically didn't even happen in this timeline, unless we're playing from not the best ending, I guess, quote-unquote, timeline. But I guess the few cursed deaths that did happen, right? The police guy, Yoko. Not the girl, because she got run over by a car, of course. But those 2 at least, and maybe somebody else that I'm blanking on. But there were 2 at least, so maybe that's why it spread it to Cersei at least. To those in the know.
It's a phenomenon where and curse bearer refers to someone who is haunted by a curse echo and thus able to use the curse.
Stop! I already told you I can't take any new information. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
Sometimes appearing in more abstract.
Oops, sorry.
This should all be old info for us.
Type of curse stone. I think I just learned why Tashima sunk 400 years ago. Let me sort out all of that first.
Really? Tell me, tell me.
Yeah, give me a minute. I don't think we learned much about that.
August 1980X, city area.
Thank you for investigating the situation for me. I mean, we were investigating it for ourselves. I was involved in an accident many years ago, so I can't bring myself to go out to sea anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason. And nothing else, right? You mysterious dead man walking?
Or something?
You've been a tremendous help.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We actually got our hands on something quite valuable, so we owe you thanks as well.
That's great. I'd love to hear more about what you discovered, if you don't mind.
We do mind. Of course. We're currently at the mouth of Kamo River. There's a residential area further upstream. It seems Mr. Ikomar had just arrived in Toba, so we managed to meet up without any problems.
Got any stickers around? No, unless they're floating in the clouds. Somebody put a sticker on a cloud. I guess not.
Even when a curse fell into our lap, she managed to remain calm. Only a consummate professional like her could be so cool and collected with all that happened. He may look scary, but his demeanor is surprisingly gentle and kind. He's a very polite young man. People like him tend to be misunderstood because they're a little awkward. He must struggle with that kind of thing a lot.
Yeah, well.
Maybe don't share a name with a guy that apparently died, okay? Maybe then I'll trust you.
Will he believe us if we suddenly start talking about curses?
Can we just not bring it up?
You think you can explain it all without bringing them up?
Yeah, we found an old trinket. And we think it's cool, so we're keeping it. Bye. Well, we'll see how far we get.
Alright, fucko.
The diver I hired to perform the search was an Alma diver living in the Toba city, by the name of Tamiko Suma. I thought there was no way we could pull off the search, but that's when she agreed to take on my request. I feel terrible about what happened. I can only hope that she's still out there somewhere unharmed. She had no way of knowing how dangerous this job was. Please, I am the one who sent her out there. If there's blame to take, it's mine. But still, what exactly happened out there? About that, let's start with this metal box the Alma diver found. Please do. Well, I guess we'll start with the box then, as they said. So basically, this is the wooden carving we found inside the metal box. I see. So your map indicated the location of this wooden carving. We believe so. The question is why? Why go all the way to not just hide it, but to conceal the map in a mermaid mummy? How very intriguing. I suppose a carving like that would have had some value back in the day, but to go through all the effort to preserve it like this. I believe what was preserved was not the carving itself, but the mermaid's memory that was stored inside the curse. Dun dun dun! A curse. Dun dun what now? That's right. In other words, the one who made that box entrusted it with a message, and we are the recipients. Please calm down, I'm feeling quite lost.
I know you're quite excited, but I think we have no choice but to start explaining the curse.
That's right, the curse chit-chat. It's curse chit-chat time. You may be a bit too rational to believe what I'm about to tell you, Mr. Akuma. Even so, I must ask you to try your best. Huh? If you're ready to hear it, I'm ready to say it. Come, give me your answer in the next 3 seconds. 3. I'm prepared, please tell me. That was quick. I see, so the Taishima mermaid known as Hayase was killed by raiders. The hatred she left behind became a curse that entered this wooden carving. You, Avi, then inherited her curse in addition to information from 400 years ago in the form of a resentful memory. You absorbed all that quite efficiently, I'm impressed. This is actually not the first time I've heard of what can happen if one touches a curse stone. Oh? Yes, but let's save that conversation for later. More importantly, can we save that for later? It sounds rather important. More importantly, you know what actually went down on Taishima 400 years ago. That's right, I know the truth. All of it. What happened, what didn't, I know it. You seem a bit frazzled. Do you need more time to collect your thoughts? There's no need to worry. I am prepared, but it will take some time to explain. Let's, I guess let's talk about Taishima. Now let's finish the box talk first. That reminds me, I meant to ask about the metal box. If it's been lying on the seafloor for 400 years, how come it wasn't discovered until now? It's just a random small thing in the middle of the ocean. It was most likely sealed inside a rock or something until a few months ago. So it was sealed away until a certain amount of time had passed? No, I believe the box's unsealing may have been triggered by something. Something like what? He accepted the supernatural aspects of our story quite quickly. Well, he did already believe in them in mermaids, after all. It's time to reveal what truly happened 400 years ago to Taishima and the mermaids. Please do tell. Around 400 years ago, the area of Shima province, which included Taishima, was governed by the Kuki clan. The leader of the clan at the time was Kuki Sumitaka, and it was his duty to protect the secret of the 3 mermaids living on Taishima. That must have been Sobae, Nagame, and Hayase. However, the legend that eating mermaid flesh could grant immortal life was well known. So he secretly hid them on Taishima so no one would learn about their existence. It appears Sumitaka thought of the mermaids as a sacred or divine existence. The thought of seeking immortality for himself likely never crossed his mind. The land where the mermaids lived was a sanctuary that he fiercely protected at all cost. In other words, Taishima was an island where people worshipped the mermaids in secret. Indeed, it meant the people living on the island were not simple commoners, but guards tasked with protecting this sanctuary and its mermaids. Sumitaka was so dedicated to keeping the mermaid secret that he kept the existence of Taishima out of historical record. The public believed the island was entirely uninhabited. You see, by keeping its existence hidden, he was able to keep the mermaid safe. However, a vassal of Sumitaka's uncle, Yoshitaka, learned about the mermaids on Taishima. He passed this information on to Yoshitaka, who believed obtaining immortality was a must to rise to the top in an era that was often plagued by war. He commanded his vassal to lead his army to Taishima and do whatever he had to do to return with the flesh of a mermaid. Sumitaka and those on the island resisted, but the invading army was far too powerful. The island was swiftly overrun. Ultimately, Hayase was captured and brought before the vassal. The vassal tortured her, demanding she grant him the power for mortality. But Hayase did not yield, even to the most hellish torments. She screamed and cursed with despair and anger until her dying breath. That's horrible. The hatred Hayase felt at the moment of her death led to the creation of the curse of the Forsaken Fish. So it was all for naught. And that is what I learned from the resentful memory inside the curse stone. But what about the other two mermaids? But, to be honest, that is only half. Half of what? Half of the memories. The other half is the memories of the one who left behind the metal box. Oh. Namely, the story of how the curse of the Forsaken Fish became a curse stone.
Intriguing.
Having failed to obtain immortality, the vassal flew into a rage. He had all inhabitants of Taishima slaughtered as revenge for keeping this a secret. Wow.
Ooh. This guy was the worst.
Finally, he continued his advance into the sanctuary the islanders had protected down to the last man. There he destroyed its shrine. What irony that he came so close to the secret he had been so desperate to find. Are you saying the other two mermaids were still in the sanctuary? No, they had already fled Taishima. Actually, there were two other survivors. Sumitaka's adopted daughter, Princess Hatsune, also escaped the chaos of the invasion unscathed. There was one other islander who managed to survive as well, taking with him the treasure the mermaids had protected. The mermaid's treasure. The Tamatebako? This may shed some light on the descendant you spoke of earlier.
Of course, she must be a descendant of the man that escaped that day.
We now know she was correct when she spoke of 3 mermaids living on Taishima.
So we do.
Putting descendants aside for now, let's return to 400 years ago. The vassals' invasion and destruction of the sanctuary was like a trigger. As a reaction to the sanctuary's fate and their own ill-deserved deaths, the sorrow and hatred of the islanders swirled together and formed into the curse of the raging waves, a natural disaster that shook the heavens when it descended upon Taishima. The curse bombarded Taishima with violent winds, earthquakes, and thunder. Then, in a final act to protect Taishima's lost sanctuary, they sank it into the sea to destroy all evidence of it ever existing. They destroyed it. The small island of Taishima sunk swiftly under the waves. The vassal and all of his men were, of course, all killed thanks to the curse. But one problem remained.
That wasn't the end of it. What if he's the descendant, actually?
And he's only talking about a different person being the one to,
not get found out.
But I guess, we already kind of know / believe that lady, mommy, is the descendant. But there could be more than one, but I don't know, it's probably not. That probably isn't, my theory just now probably isn't right. Taishima was destroyed by the natural disasters caused by the curse of the raging waves. But the calamity continued for many days. It must have seemed as though it would never end.
I can't imagine how terrifying it must have been.
Sumitaka even sought out a famous onmyoji to dispel the curse, but he was unsuccessful. The curse would eventually sink to the bottom of the sea, alongside the sanctuary and be sealed there. Only then did the calamity end. Yet it appears this curse was so powerful that it required a sacrifice to be truly sealed.
A sacrifice.
Not just any sacrifice, but a living one. Princess Hatsune offered herself up to be that sacrifice.
You said she was Sumitaka's adopted daughter, yes? And that she lived on Taishima.
That appears to be the case. Sumitaka was evidently so taken with her that he decided to adopt her.
The rumor that she threw herself down a well was likely spread to cover up the real cause of her death.
So Princess Hatsune was actually sacrificed. The seal would hold for 400 years. They must have hoped that the curse itself would fade during that time too. Yeah, well. However, the curse of the Forsaken Fish created by Hayase also continued to linger in the same place. So the Onmyoji sealed it inside the wooden carving, turning it into a curse stone.
And now it's 400 years later.
Then the same Onmyoji, knowing that the seal would only last 400 years, stored his memories within the curse stone to pass on this information.
He wished to pass down his knowledge for others to use in the event. The curse outlasted the 400-year lifespan of the seal.
Sorry, let me read that. I feel like I blanked. Also, I guess stored the memories within the curse stone to pass on this information. Okay.
He left behind instructions on how to completely dispel the curse of the raging waves.
Indeed, I've compiled it all in my files.
Okay. The curse that caused an outbreak of turbulent waves and violent storms in the seas around Kamishima. It is said that the curse was born from the resentment of the former resident of Taishima, an island once located to the south of Kamishima, and someone brought about its destruction. After someone brought about its destruction. I guess we might this time be the spirit of this Onmyoji. But maybe not. We could also be, the princess. Or anybody. Some believe that several of the disasters that have struck Kamishima in the past were actually caused by this curse in some manner, including the Kamishima's South Sea disaster that occurred 5 years ago. Person accused of raging with curse. Okay, this is old news, right? In truth, the curse has been perpetually active ever since its inception. The sacrifice offered 400 years ago merely served to seal the source of the calamity during this time. It is believed that Mare Minakochi attempted to lift the curse once and for all, only for her failure to give rise to the disaster 5 years ago. It is believed that? Nobody has said that yet, but that sounds like a theory I could have come up with. In the event that the curse did not fade during the 400 years it was sealed, the Onmyoji originally responsible for sealing the curse left behind a plan to dispel it. It was his belief that the curse's power would have weakened enough by that point that performing the following steps would be enough to lift the curse completely.
First, thou must unbind my seal, risen from the depths with the iron box. I guess that's what we just did? Question mark? Second, thou must offer the still-tide mirror bequeathed by the sacrifice to the sanctuary. Still-tide mirror, huh? By the sacrifice to the sanctuary. Third, let those who share blood with the lost souls of Taishima be the ones to offer appeasement. So our user guy has to use the mirror to do something. Must offer the still-tide mirror bequeathed by the sacrifice to the sanctuary. Huh, so that's what happened. And that wraps it up. I got all that info beamed into my brain in a flash, and yet I still managed to present it as an enticing narrative, eh? How amazing was that? He is an author.
You're utterly astounding. Wow, incredible.
She's our best supporter. Invasion of Taishima. Around 400 years ago, during the Sengoku period,
Oda Nobunaga was assassinated at Honnoji Temple.
Kuki Yoshitaka, commander of the Kuki Navy,
had steadily been gaining influence within the clan, but he now found himself at a crossroads in an era still racked by the turmoil of war. It was then that a vassal of the Kuki clan, Komatsu's son Sadamune, approached him with some intriguing information. According to Sadamune, 3 mermaids were said to be living on Taishima under the protection of some of the island's residents, even though the island was originally thought to be uninhabited. This is going to be a long one, huh? It was widely known through folklore that eating the flesh of a mermaid granted one immortality and eternal youth. Sadamune urged Yoshitaka to take advantage of this, suggesting that if he possessed such power, an invincible army would be his to command.
Seeing this as the opportunity he had been waiting for, Yoshitaka ordered Sadamune to capture the mermaids and bring them back to him. However, Kuki Sumitaka, Yoshitaka's nephew and head of the clan at the time, strongly opposed his approaching Taishima. It was in fact Sumitaka who had secretly been protecting the mermaids of non-Taishima, believing the mermaids to be messengers of the gods and the island a sacred sanctuary. He had worked to keep them isolated from outside the influence. So yeah, Taishima is the sanctuary, or I guess that hole in the sea might be the sanctuary, right? His adopted daughter, that, once again, going back to that thought again, we might have to use the diving feature to bring about that stuff. Just don't know how we, since we didn't have the mirror at the time of the diving, not sure how we can do that, at least not yet. But maybe it's not, literally the mirror we got, but something else. Anyway. Maybe something we can find at sea. Anyway. His adopted daughter, Princess Hatsune, was also living in hiding on Taishima at the time for other reasons, which further strengthened his opposition to Yoshitaka's plan. However, it was not long before Komatsu Sadamune learned of this. He reported to Yoshitaka that Sumitaka was not only planning to keep the mermaids for himself, but was also secretly moving to build an army of his own. That's lies! Infuriated by what he perceived as an act of rebellion, Yoshitaka gave the order to Sadamune to prepare a military invasion of Taishima. Upon receiving the order, Komatsu Sadamune immediately set sail for Taishima at the head of a large army. Caught off guard by the unexpected attack, Sumitaka scrambled to send out his own forces in an attempt to resist, but was unable to prevent the enemy from landing. In the blink of an eye, the once peaceful and beautiful landscape of Taishima was transformed into a nightmare. The islanders, guardians of the sacred land, desperately fought back, but they stood no chance against seasoned soldiers hardened by years of battle on the front lines, and one after another they fell before the invaders. Sadamune ordered that even women and children be cut down, damn dude, without mercy, and soon the waters around Taishima ran red with blood. Sadamune's forces swept across the island, searching every inch for signs of the mermaids as they pressed their assault. Finally, they discovered a mermaid in hiding by the name of Hayase, and captured her. Sadamune demanded that she make his troops immortal. But the mermaid staunchly refused, even as Sadamune turned to torture, inflicting unspeakable pain with every refusal. The torture escalated until eventually even her supernatural nature was not enough to withstand the torment. On the brink of death and resigned to her fate, Hayase gave a final terrible cry, overflowing with resentment and anger as she breathed her last. Sadamune ordered his men to take the flesh from her body, but as they moved to do so, a strange phenomenon began to occur. All the soldiers who approached her body began to transform into fish, their bodies decaying rapidly as the transformation took hold. Hayase had cast a curse upon them with her dying breath. Good stuff, at least. With the one mermaid Sadamune had captured dead and his forces decimated, he began a mad search of the island in pursuit of the remaining two mermaids. Eventually he found a deep cave in the interior of the island that extended far beneath the earth, reaching down to the seafloor. In the deepest part of the cave was a shrine and a door with a powerful seal over it that he couldn't open no matter how hard he tried. Convinced this had to be the entrance to the sacred land, the home of the mermaids, Sadamune gathered all his remaining gunpowder and artillery and unleashed it on the door. Well, that's stupid. Deepest part of the cave, shrine. Destroying both it and the shrine in the process. The next moment, a violent tremor racked the entire island, and the skies above were engulfed by a storm, the repercussions of his desecration of the sacred land, and the resentment of the islanders he had senselessly slaughtered, blended together, unleashing an all-consuming calamity that seemed to shake the very heavens and earth. Ravaged by fierce earthquakes and vicious storms, Taishima sank beneath the waves, as if nature itself sought to protect the sacred land by erasing all traces of its existence. Thus were Taishima and the sacred land, along with Sadamune and his army, lost to the sea in an instant. The only survivors of this tragedy were 2 mermaids and 2 islanders that had successfully made their escape from the island. 2 mermaids and 2 islanders. Hayase had, in fact, stayed behind as bait to allow the others to escape. I was wondering about that. The 2 surviving islanders were Princess Hatsune and a man named Somikawa. Somikawa. That name sounds familiar. Who had been assigned the duty of protecting a relic important to the mermaids. Where do we know? Wait, let me just type that in so I don't forget to check. Isn't that... That's not the old man. No, that's somebody else. Somikawa. Was that from the first game? No. Let's check it in a second. Protecting a relic important to the mermaids. The mirror, probably, maybe. However, the tale did not end with the sinking of Taishima. Sumitaka eventually made it to the seas near the island, but fierce anger and resentment darkened the waters around it. And the curse born from these dark emotions, the curse of the raging waves, had given rise to a storm that continued to rage even several days after the incident. Furthermore, the curse born from Hayase's final moments, the curse of the Forsaken Fish, also continued to exert its influence on the area, causing anyone who entered the storm's domain to transform into a fish. The situation had grown beyond anyone's ability to control. Sumitaka, looking for a solution, turned to Tsuchimikado Harukage, a renowned onmyoji, and friend of Princess Hatsune. After conducting an investigation, Harukage concluded that the source of the curse was the sacred land, now sunk beneath the waves. Although the curse was too powerful to dispel, it would be possible to seal the sacred land by offering up a sacrifice, thereby suppressing its calamitous effects. The seal would last for 400 years, by which time he anticipated that the curse of the raging waves would dissipate. Hearing this, Princess Hatsune volunteered to sacrifice herself in the hopes that it would bring peace to the souls of the islanders who had looked after her during her time on Taishima. So let me just read this part again, because I was blanking out again. Seal would last for 400 years. Would possible to seal the sacred land by offering up a sacrifice. Okay. With her noble sacrifice, the storm at last died down, and peace was restored to the seas around the island. A bronze mirror, in Princess Hatsune's possession at the time, was imbued with power to serve as a talisman to calm raging waves, and was passed from person to person over the years, eventually making its way to Kamishima. Maybe the mass slaughter of people with those mirrors was somebody who didn't want the curse to be lifted. Just killing anyone that might fit the bill. Who can say? Tsuchimikado Harukage was also able to seal the curse of the Forsaken Fish in the wooden accessory that Princess Hatsune had been wearing, turning it into a curse stone. Harukage used the resentful memories contained within the curse stone to create a record of the event, which he sealed within a heavily locked iron box before concealing it in a rock on the seabed. In the event the curse of the raging waves had not abated even after 400 years, he made it so that the seal on the rock would be lifted at the same time as the seal on the sacred land, so that the record of what had happened and the method of undoing the curse would make its way to future generations. Meanwhile, to protect the sacred land and the mermaids, Sumitaka ensured all records of Taishima were erased, so no mention of the island or the disaster that had befallen it would make its way into historical accounts. He also concocted a tale in which Princess Hatsune had thrown herself down a well in defiance of a political marriage in order to conceal her sacrifice. Afterwards, Kuki Yoshitaka, infuriated not only by his failure to obtain immortality, but also by the loss of his primary military force, murdered Sumitaka, who opposed him to the very end,
and seized control of the Cookie clan in both name and nature. He had his vassals search the area around Tashima countless times after that, but it is said that they found neither the mermaids nor any trace of their existence. Somikawa. Oh. Right, that's her. Now I gotta check what the text said again just now. Wait, I can check it again if I do this here. Yes. Somikawa. Where was that name written? There it is, in blue. The two surviving islanders, right, were Princess Hatsune and a man named Somikawa. So I guess she is just as a descendant and shares the name. Might not be the exact same person, or who knows? I compiled all the details of the story in these files, so feel free to go over it at your own pace. Oh, thank you. Okay. Somehow that's not the end. After Miss Suma had found the metal box, you mean to tell me she's died? It is likely. If we consider that the curse of the Forsaken Fish had completely saturated the metal box, it is likely already too late for her. Maybe she just successfully turned into a fish and didn't die. You know, maybe she's living a happy fish life now. How horrible. Since she likely turned into a fish and died soon after, there's a high chance her transformed body will wash up on shore soon. Okay, maybe I gotta think. We're in Ikuma's debt. I suppose we owe to tell him everything we've learned. Do we? Wait a second. Something wrong? Avi, if someone is affected by the curse of the Forsaken Fish, the transformation starts at the feet and travels up, slowly up, yes? I believe so, though it's hard to say for sure without witnessing it. If it is true, then that may explain the true identity of the fish mermaids discovered in this area. It could have been those bodies of the bodies of those who died in the middle of transforming into the curse, due to the curse of the Forsaken Fish. Oh, that's a convincing theory. Fish mermaids have been recorded as having only human heads or faces, or appearing human just from the chest or shoulders up. If the curse starts at the feet and travels upward, that would explain the variety of fish mermaids that have appeared. The process is so painful that most die mid-transformation. Then the curse causes the corpse to rapidly wither, forming a fibrous mass. God. It may even be the true identity of your mermaid mummy. Interesting. Still, without analyzing it directly, there's no way to know for certain. But perhaps this is why the mermaid mummies originating from Japan are of such high quality. Huh. So... But weren't they made of, like... Wasn't the one he checked made of, like, wood and paper? Didn't he confirm that? Or maybe it's just similar? I don't know. Of course, this doesn't mean that all fish mermaids are mermaid mummies, that all fish mermaids and mermaid mummies are authentic. But it means there's a possibility. No. Any number of fish mermaids could actually be victims of this curse. Why were you looking all weird just now while we were talking, huh?
Huh? Huh?
Actually, I just remembered there were 2 points from your tale I wanted to discuss.
About the events 400 years ago.
My first point concerns the vassal who tortured the mermaid in an attempt to obtain immortality. If all he needed was the mermaid's flesh, what necessity would there be in torturing her?
Oh, that's true. It could mean that the vassal ate the mermaid's flesh but did not become immortal. So he tortured her to figure out why.
As for the second observation, I have a theory about the area you described as the sanctuary. Could it possibly be referring to an entrance to Ryugu?
Ryugu.
It is sometimes also referred to as the Eternal World or the World Beyond. In some legends, mermaids are priestesses who serve the ruler of Ryugu, the god of the sea.
I see. If the sanctuary was actually an entrance to Ryugu, then that could mean that the mermaids were not living on Taishima, but merely traveling there from Ryugu.
Yes, I believe that to be the case. It would also explain why the destruction of the sanctuary would inspire the fury of the god of the sea. To be honest, it's difficult to believe that the grudges of the inhabitant of Taishima would be enough to explain what happened.
Yeah, I guess.
How could they possibly engender a curse powerful enough to sink an island and linger for more than 400 years?
Yeah, true.
However, it's quite easy to believe that a curse from Ryugu could maintain such power.
That also explains the necessity of a living sacrifice. Of course, one would be required to seal an entrance to Ryugu. I don't necessarily see the logic in that, but sure. But if the entrance to Ryugu was sealed, what became of the 2 mermaids that fled Taishima?
I doubt Sobae and Nagame managed to return to Ryugu. I believe they have been living here in the human world for the past 400 years, waiting for the seal to be lifted. They just hid somewhere away from human eyes.
If that is true, then they've been successfully hiding for over 400 years.
Of course, if they were to hide themselves at the bottom of the sea, it would be practically impossible to find them. It is also possible they've been wandering the globe rather than lingering in one place.
I guess, yeah. Like Bikuni. That could explain all the mermaid sightings around the world. They could be all the same too.
All this discussion of hiding made me realize something.
What is it?
Do you recall the story Mr. Ikuma told us yesterday of the mermaid who became a human?
Are you suggesting that she decided to join human society because she could not return to Ryugu?
It's a possibility we should consider.
But that occurred only a few decades ago. Why would she decide to become human just before the seal was released?
Perhaps her circumstances changed? We can only speculate on the motivations of someone who has lived for centuries. It is possible she did not feel compelled, but decided to become human out of her own desire.
Could she have met someone she wanted to live a mortal life with, like in The Little Mermaid?
That is certainly possible, and quite romantic too.
I'll have to write this down. It could make us all a novel. Maybe.
Oh, I've just realized something.
What is it?
You heard about this mermaid from the descendant of the Taishima survivor, yes?
That's correct. I feel it's only right that they are informed of the things we learned. We'd love to talk to her. We're quite curious about this mermaid treasure too. It must have been passed down to them through the generations. I understand I'd probably drop by her place later anyway, since I also have to handle the matter with Miss Suma. I'll discuss it with her then. Thanks, that'd be great. That said, in return, I have a favor to ask of you. Haven't we said enough to already to, have made up for a favor? Oops. Go ahead, we will do whatever we can. You set that seal over the entrance to Ryugu. You said that seal over the entrance to Ryugu has been lifted. Is that correct?
Yes, it has most likely been gone for several months now.
Huh? Really?
A horrible curse has been swirling around the area where Taishima used to be. It's possible that curse is the curse of the raging waves, and it surged up from Ryugu once more now that the seal has been lifted. The fact we were able to open the metal box is proof enough that the seal has faded.
That would mean the entrance to Ryugu is now open.
Well, the situation is quite unstable now. What with the curse of the raging waves seeping in through the entrance.
At any rate, what did you want us to do?
There's an island called Kamishima that is located quite close to where Taishima once was. There's something I would like you to do for me there. This request does in fact have some relation to our current conversation.
Oh?
You can guess. Now then, Avi. We decided to tell Ikoma everything, but I know there's some information you kept from him.
Oh, did I?
Yes, something from the mermaid's memories. The real way to obtain immortality.
That's right. I see no reason to inform him about it. After all, no matter what he may say about tourist attractions, this guy is also after immortality. I saw him straighten up when you talked about the mermaid being tortured because her captor required more than her flesh for immortality. So that's what that was, huh?
Are you sure? I thought his goal, if he even had one, was to quell the curse of the raging waves.
Perhaps there's that too. He even asked us to go to Kamishima and find the still-tied mirror in his stead. You did mention lifting the curse required the mirror as well as the help of the Taishima descendant, right? Why would she be the one to mention that? Didn't we figure that out because of the memories we got?
There was also something about lifting a seal first, but I don't know what that part's all about.
Well, I see no harm in quelling the curse, so I say we continue to cooperate for now.
Agreed, though I do wish we did not have to approach Kamishima at all. The evil atmosphere is nauseating.
However, we must consider the possibility that Ikoma actually has his eyes set on the mermaids in Ryugu. It's possible he may be searching for mermaids like us. I suppose that discussion can wait for later. First, we must find the treasure that the survivor managed to slip out of Taishima.
You mean the treasure required in addition to mermaid flesh when attempting to gain immortality?
Treasure, huh? Yes, it's a treasure known as the Tamatebako. Mermaid flesh has to be put inside and purified by it to have any effect. So, provided one has both the flesh of a human mermaid and a Tamatebako, then immortality is indeed attainable. Boo. A box often referred to as a relic, used by the mermaids who once lived near Taishima.
A similar box also made its appearance in the Tale of Urashima Taro as the box gifted to the eponymous protagonist by Otohime, leading to its name becoming widely known. The box is filled with a spiritual energy similar in nature to that which fills Ryugu, the mermaid's original home. Objects placed within it may thus be kept in the same state they would be within Ryugu. It is said that the mermaids used the box to bring objects from Ryugu with them that they would otherwise have been unable to transport to the material world. But it also has the secondary effect of returning mermaid flesh, normally only able to exist in a transient state in the material world, to the state it would be in Ryugu, thereby restoring its ability to grant immortality. So that reminds me of how we've learned that the immortality actually works, right? Because, like, you lose a part of your body, for example, that part vanishes, and you get it, like, you regrow it on the largest part of your remaining body, right? Which makes me think that maybe the Tamatebako could also be the only or maybe main way of undoing the immortality, right? Like, if you manage to use that energy to change your entire body from its transient state into
another one, then you can, truly die again. But maybe that's unrelated.
If we could meet with the Taishima descendant, they could probably provide us with information on the Tamatebako.
I concur. If we could get our hands on the Tamatebako, we wouldn't have to worry about Ikuma. However, it's likely he is wary of us and will keep us from meeting the descendant.
At the very least, we know he's cautious enough to keep her name secret. Well, that's why I asked him to hand her our little souvenir.
Ah, what was that all about anyway? You sure we're not going to need that iron box?
I doubt we will need it again. Plus, you can think of it as a backup plan.
Oh. Regardless of what happens, we'll be able to meet with the descendant tomorrow. Let's get our hands on that mermaid treasure. Time to find a Tamatebako.
Okay.
Did she maybe the curse purifying energy that she put on the box will undo the lost memories she had when she touches it, but I guess we wouldn't know about that, so that doesn't really make sense.
I mean, I kind of just want to continue with that thing.
Maybe we should be doing some diving too. Let's do some diving just so I can stop reading so much the entire time. And then we'll continue with the Barnum story. And maybe we can just, undo the seal. Because we got a mirror in our log or something. See this abalone? That's kind of like a mirror. It's also very yonic. Glad I know that word. It is extremely yonic.
Being presented to Issa Shrine as an offering.
Diving. Come on. That was sucky. No. Nice. Where are we going? Oh, question mark. Don't think we can get whatever that is. Oh, yes, we surely can't. But now we have some interesting info. Got another good one. But we're nowhere near 10, so we don't get that multiplier. So this might not be a great score, but hey. Maybe we can talk to our friend about the thing we just saw there. Hey, dog dude. I guess we don't have anything to talk about. I'm guessing we literally can't undo that right now. But maybe we want to try anyway right now. That was this direction. There it is. It doesn't. Okay, it does still show the question mark. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. Oh, wait, actually, with some luck, maybe? Yes. Come on. Give me another lucky one. Or not. What? That was also the symbol. You know, from the map and the box. That might have been the seal that we just sent in. We didn't get anything, but I think that was worthwhile. Whoa, is that an abalone? Oh, whoa, is that an abalone? That's amazing. You really are the patron saint of diving. Hey, rank 8 already? You're doing great. Keep up the good work. No. Nothing to say about the very mysterious thing that I just found. Maybe there's more of them. Right? Maybe it doesn't count if we only get one. But I think we did a good thing here. Now let's get a super duper score. Come on, come on, come on. No, fine. Come on. Come on, that really didn't work out. Oh well. Let's get to rank 10, eh? Oh, fuck. Well, that makes getting to level 10 at least one step slower. What a bummer. Doing this with mouse and keyboard is probably, well, I guess just with mouse is probably a lot better, because then you can aim faster and more precisely. But is there something interesting and new? No. Oh, come on. Triple? At least it's a high value thing. A heavy bit. A big bit. Yep. 311 Avalon. Well, I think we gotta go again. And also we can't, you know, our score won't be represented in leveling up much, so... It's whatever, man, I guess. I suppose. I figure I dingle dongle, dingle doodle doodle doodle. I think a swimming speed. I guess that also includes just swimming in general, huh? But I feel like just leveling this to max might just be in our best interest. Or this. Max it out. Oh wait, it does carry over. Wait, I thought it didn't before. Maybe we just never got that much more. What? But hey, that makes getting to level 10 that much less of a pain. Oh well. Time to 10 it up, as they say. You probably haven't heard about it because you're not hip with the kids like I am, but 10ing it up is kind of like a local slang. Like, it's not local, it's global, actually. And it's been popularized by me, actually. Yeah, all the kids kind of love me. But not just the kids, you know. Everyone loves me. If you don't love me, then you're wrong. That's what the kids say. And everyone else that you adore, actually. Honestly, that's kind of talking behind your back. They're like, oh man, he doesn't like Jesus? Or they don't like Jesus? Don't know if they can be trusted, and honestly, I kind of agree. You know, not to
Not to toot my own horn, but, you know, if all the kids like me, then there's gotta be something wrong with the people who don't, no? Hey, camera. Ah, what? So many urchins. But we probably gotta leave soon. I guess we still had a decent amount of air left, huh? When it's red, it doesn't, you know, it's not like red before. Because we got more total. But that was more than 10, right? Yeah. Yeah, alright. I'm thinking the gathering. See, now nothing went over. It could be that we just happened to hit it perfectly, but... Anyway, are you impressed now? Whoa, you've already reached rank 10. Just look at the haul you've brought in. That's amazing. Let me just try one more thing, like, you know, maybe we can... Well, I think until we find the mirror or find out more about the mirror or something, we probably can't do anything here. What is this, by the way? Warning, your diver rank higher... Oh, no. Proceed? No. No, absolutely not. Maybe that's something we'll have to do at some point. One of those meta things. Oh, you have to purify yourself. You have to cleanse your mind. You have to be a new person. Then I will know and like, haha. And everyone will be impressed. No, I don't think we can do anything. So let's stop diving. Rank 10 diver? Yeah, that's me. Don't be too impressed, okay? Descendant and duty. I suppose, Ishishima investigation. I guess this will be roughly the point where she meets them. And he, I guess, flees with the lady. And then she winds up dead, uh-oh, in a way that his curse can make happen, but surely not. Surely not. Somebody steals his curse? I don't know. Humiko knows has inherited it. He tries to scheme a way to meet them. Breaking the fourth wall again, sensing us again.
Hello again, Arnif Barnum back on the scene. Allow me to summarize. As expected, Ikoma contacted us today, telling us we'd have to wait a little longer before we could meet the descendant. Thus figuring he had no intention of letting us meet her anyway, we decided to use Cersei's ability to go looking for the descendant ourselves.
Who exactly are you talking to?
I'm merely setting the scene. Really feels like it raises the stakes, no? Makes it feel more like a thrilling adventure.
Sure, you go. You got me all worked up. But I'm trying to concentrate, so could you please stop distracting me?
Oh, right, sorry.
There's gotta be a sticker here.
This is the town of Ichika in Toba City. You know, I'm kind of glad that we're playing this from his perspective, because otherwise I'd have to do her voice, which isn't that bad, but it's definitely not as
easy on my throat as that one.
The area is one of many in the area renowned for its ama divers.
I suppose it would make sense for people not to put stickers in this area, but come on. Come on. gotta find some birds, man. If I gotta find some birds, man. Some birds.
Cersei is completely focused on dowsing right now. There are several types of dowsing techniques, but it seems like she's using a pendulum. It would seem that the necklace she wears can be used for such a purpose. The closer you get to the target, the stronger the pendulum swings. So, hey, I'm not supposed to distract you, right? She seems focused. Best not to interrupt her now. Okay. Cersei is using the her dowsing ability to search for the descendant right now. What's that? Doesn't her dowsing only let us look for spiritual energy? And on top of that, doesn't she have to be familiar with the energy she's looking for? Yeah.
I guess that's why the box was given to her. Smart move.
That's right, I was thinking the same thing. However, Cersei was perfectly prepared. Before parting with Ikoma yesterday, she asked him to hand the iron box to the descendant when he paid her a visit. She said the descendant ought to have it, since it is so deeply connected to Taishima's history. That's putting a little, maybe not too much, but a lot of trust into Ikoma to actually follow that. But hey, from what we know, I guess he did. Ikuma agreed on the matter and would apparently go through with it, and assuming he did hand it over. Then the iron box, with its massive amount of spiritual energy, has fallen right in the lap of her target. Now, Cersei just has to use her dowsing to locate the box. At least that's the plan.
Nice thinking, Cersei.
I suppose we'll think some more. However, her dowsing range is limited. With the spiritual energy the iron box possesses, its range is probably just 2 to 3 kilometers. That's still pretty good. So we had to narrow down the target area somewhat before starting our search. So, any idea where we might start looking for the descendant?
I think Mr. Ikoma said something about visiting her several times before she finally agreed to talk, didn't he?
He did, which could mean that she doesn't live far away. She's a difficult person. I mean, that wouldn't help much. She must live close enough for him to have paid her frequent visits.
Yes, exactly. So I think it'd be best to start by searching the towns within Toba.
I see. But there are quite a few towns in the area, right?
About that, when we parted yesterday, Mr. Ikuma mentioned something else that stuck with me. When you asked to meet the descendant, he said he'd probably drop by later anyway, since he also had to handle the matters with Miss Suma.
An armor diver, so by the sea.
The descendant lived close to Suma.
Probably. He said it like he would drop by while he was in the area, so they likely lived close to one another.
Yes, I was thinking the same. Those towns with many armor divers are our top candidates.
So that means we should probably start by searching all the towns in Toba that are home to a lot of armor divers.
That's right. We can make our way up by searching along the coast for starters.
It would be nice if we'd at least learned the descendant's name.
We might have a lead on that. Think of your research into the past and of this place.
Somikawa. The descendant of somebody named Somikawa. Oh right, I believe the name was Somkawa. It's like some river, you know, it's... Some, of course, is Japanese also and means some. Somikawa. That's what Taishima's survivor was called. If there are any descendants, then they may still bear the same name.
That's right. It's another clue we can follow.
And so we ended up spending the morning traveling along the coast from one fishing town to another. This is the 4th town we've searched so far. It's about time we actually find something. Well then, perhaps it's about time I checked in with Cersei to see how things are going.
Now you want me to talk to her? Well, now I don't want to anymore.
So, Cersei, what's the situation?
Want to give it a try?
Huh, really? Will it still work if it's me?
I'll still be holding the pendulum, but you can see for yourself if you'd like.
Color me intrigued, I'm in.
Alright, just like this. I'll hold the pendulum. Direct me to move in different directions to see where it reacts.
Very well, bring it on. This game sure has a lot of funny little sequences.
The pendulum won't respond right away, so the trick is to point it in one direction and wait a while. Once you find the spot where it reacts the strongest, just shout that you figured it out.
Got it. When it comes to yelling, I'm your guy. Doesn't seem to be reacting. That sure would be convenient, wouldn't it? In that direction, out on the sea. Well, that wasn't going to be right, but I just wanted to check. Oh, there's some reaction. Seems about the same here. Weaker. So this seems to be the area, maybe up above a little bit. Oh, yep, now it's really going wild. Ooh, that seems strong. There, right there.
You got it.
So that means it's somewhere up there.
Well, it may still be a bit further out, but at least we figured out what direction to go.
I knew it was about time we hit the right spot. Alright, let's follow this thing and see where it leads us.
Right. This is it. It's the apartment furthest back on this building's ground floor.
Got it. Hello, anybody home?
Wow, you don't hesitate, huh?
We're here on behalf of Mr. Ikoma. We totally are. No answer. Guess no one's home.
No, I can sense a presence.
Hello, we'd like to talk about the iron box.
What is it?
Don't remember what voice I gave her.
You two, Avi and Cersei, is it? So you're the ones who found that iron box? Yes, that's right. You know, I've never talked to foreigners before. I'm so nervous I can hardly think straight.
Please, no need to be so tense, Miss Sumikova. I promise we're both harmless and cheerful. Cheerful, yes. Harmless, at least one of us, maybe.
Right.
So this is Miss Sumikova's home. Even with the lights on, it's strangely dark inside. Even though it's daytime, the shutters are kept tightly shut. You can hardly hear any noise from outside either. At a quick glance, I can't spot anything that looks like a tamatebako in the room. I suppose it makes sense she wouldn't just keep it out in the open.
What if the entire house is the tamatebako, and it can change size?
She may look calm on the surface, but I know she must be excited to peek inside a traditional Japanese home. Well, a wooden apartment like this is pretty old school. I can see why she'd be geeking out. So she is a descendant of the last Taishima survivor. The way she dresses makes her look older, but I'd say she's probably around my age.
And has been for a while, maybe?
I thought she'd be difficult to deal with, but now that we've actually met her, I'd say it's more like she's extremely cautious, the type to never let her guard down. I can't even begin to imagine the kind of life she's led. Still, the fact that she's wearing traditional clothing is actually quite charming. I've hardly seen anyone wearing traditional clothes since coming to Japan, which was a bit of a shock, to be honest.
I'm so glad we got a chance to talk with her.
Mm-hmm. So, how are you doing? Allow me to emphasize what an honor it is to meet as a descendant of Taishima.
Who's to say that it's even true?
I suppose your family must have lived in this town for generations.
Nah, I moved here a couple years back.
Oh, why's that?
That's got nothing to do with the two of you.
Ah, fair enough. Then, if you don't mind me asking, do you have any other family or relatives, Miss Somakawa?
Why?
I apologize. Apologies. I was merely wondering if there are any other descendants.
Dunno, but I'm probably the only one left. That too will come to an end soon enough.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
No more than what I said.
So, do you live here by yourself, Miss Somakawa?
That's right.
Quick and to the point, I like it.
Where exactly did you come across the iron box?
I followed this map that was in my family's possession. Supposedly it was left behind by the Onmyoji who sealed away the curse of Taishima.
A map, you say?
It led us to the iron box. It must have been resting at the bottom of Ise Bay. Since it's such a valuable artifact deeply connected to Taishima's lost history, we felt we absolutely had to tell you about it, Miss Somakawa.
Oh yeah?
If I may say so, I noticed your interest in the iron box. Could it be you already knew of its existence?
I didn't know it was a box, but I'd been told something still remained of the island.
That would make sense.
It does. Speaking of that box, I don't suppose there was something inside.
Yes, inside was a record detailing how Taishima was destroyed, along with information on the curse of the raging waves. A record, huh? I guess that's not an outright lie.
A record?
Oh, allow me to fill you in on the details. And that sums it up. Such a horrid man, wouldn't you say? Massacring the people of Taishima because he wanted to find the mermaid that bad. The grudge left behind by the events coalesced into two separate curses, and ultimately Taishima was destroyed along with everything else. I'm sure it must be excruciating to hear the tale of how your ancestors' home was destroyed. But I believe this story should be passed down so people can learn of Taishima's true history, wouldn't you agree?
And that was all recorded in that box?
Sure, in a way. By the way, you may consider this the curious whims of a fantasy author, but would you be able to elucidate me on some of the stories that have been passed down in your family?
Now I get it. You also came here because you wanted to ask about mermaids, eh?
As I always say, honesty is the best policy. Got me. Alright, you got me here there. It's true. But can you blame me? As a fantasy author, it is in my blood. If mermaids truly do exist, then I must sate my curiosity. Also, if you have a curse thing that kills me if I lie to you, then I wouldn't want to lie to you.
I knew it. Whatever your motives, you're not getting the Tamatebako.
Oh.
I'm not falling for one of Ikuma's schemes, so he's been trying to get it out of your hands, huh?
Ah.
I'm not gonna share the family's legends of Taishim with just anyone.
But we're not just anyone. We had the info about the box in our family. That must mean something. Did you just say that Ikuma is after the Tamatebako?
Oh, so you didn't know? Well, he is. That's exactly why I hid it somewhere no one will ever find it.
I see. It must be very precious to you then. Or it must be very bad to get in the wrong hands. Well, I'm relieved that iron box found its way to you then.
So, was there a curse stone inside the iron box?
A curse what?
Don't play dumb. There must have been one.
Well, as I always say, honesty, no. Yes, there was. So you already knew about it. There was indeed a curse stone inside.
That's what I thought. Then how about a trade? You two want the Tamatebako, don't you?
Oh, a trade.
Ise Bay, offshore.
Oh? Maybe the trade goes wrong and that's how she ends up cursed? I didn't think we'd be going this far out. You certainly shook me when you said we had to take a boat all of a sudden. To think the Tamatebako would be hidden at sea. What an incredible plot twist. Ah, my apologies. I guess it's just the writer in me coming through. This is all too thrilling. Well, when she said it, she hid it somewhere hard to find, I was thinking it was either on
Kamishima?
that her time spent there was mostly spent picking a spot to search something, but that would be quite a long time and
Kind of awful to her family.
or it's at sea.
You sure can talk.
Oh, believe it or not, I'm actually holding back. I can actually go on and at great length once I get started.
That wasn't praise. There's somewhere to run on an island, no matter where you go.
There's nowhere to run on an island, but I was like, huh, what is that? How much sense does that make?
Someone's always near. It's always too loud, grating on their ears. The sea, though, once you get this far out, it's nice and quiet. Nothing but the sound of the waves. No talking, no irritating folk for commotion. Only fish swimming without a sound. Perfect place to kill and dispose of a body. This is fine. Stop the boat.
We're somewhere off the coast of Toba City, accompanied only by the sound of the waves and the cries of seabirds.
Is that a butterfly?
Did she really hide the Tamatebako here, in a place with no landmarks whatsoever? From the way she told us to stop, it sounded more like we were like in a general area, like just far enough from everything, and or in the general area of the box. Who knows? And if it's at the bottom of the ocean here, how are we supposed to retrieve it? Miss Omikawa used to be an armor diver. Could she be planning to go down and get it herself?
And also, I guess we left,
Cersei behind. Ah, yeah, that's Cersei's. Whoa. This is one of Cersei's abilities, a Shikigami. When someone's name is written on a piece of paper, she can make that paper fly towards that person. They're great for delivering messages or tracking down someone. I was pretty spooked the first time I saw it, but I've gotten used to it. Okay, fine, I did just go whoa, but not because I was actually surprised or anything.
Of course not. Is something wrong?
Ah, it's nothing, don't mind me. I wonder if something happened to Cersei. I'd better read the note. Arnulf Barnum. That's our name. Let's take a look. Ran into 2 suspicious people looking for Miss Omikawa. We know those. I drove them off for now, but be careful. Seems like something happened on Cersei's end. I'd better stay alert, just in case. But I don't think I'll mention this to Miss Omikawa. It'd only shake her up. Anybody put a sticker on this boat?
Come on, bros, where the stickers at? How am I supposed to play a game when I can't find stickers all the time?
What is that? I guess that's a star that is visible even
in broad daylight.
She looks so solemn. I wonder what's going through her mind. Not going to lie, I'm a little concerned she still hasn't told me the conditions of our trade.
Yeah, that seems,
scary when you're out at sea. Will she ask me to trade her the curse stone? Trade our life! So, will you tell me what you want to trade for the Tamatebaku now? That's a scary look.
You've got the Forsaken Fish Curse stone with you, right?
Sure do. Have a good look, the Forsaken Fish Curse stone. Don't hold it so, haphazardly. What if she just grabs it and tosses it into the sea?
Looks like the real deal, right?
You want to trade the stone for the Tamatebaku, right? I figured as much. Well, I'm fine with those terms. Let's do it.
No, that ain't it.
Oh, that ain't it? What do be it, then?
You know, I once had a sister. Her name was Mare Somakawa.
Oh. So it was her twin, or maybe just sister. They just look similar enough that, you know, you might think they're twins based on the art style, I guess. So they're not the same person. Or she's lying. That could also be it. You say you had a sister. Does that mean...
Yes, she's gone. Died in an accident at sea about 5 years ago.
But that could also mean that, you know... I mean, that's just... Once again, just a random theory, I guess. But if they're sisters, could be that they are the two remaining mermaids, and that would mean the Somekawa name might be, you know, a false identity that maybe both of them took on to hide their mermaid identities or something. Maybe nobody by the name of Somekawa ever existed. Or, I don't know.
She's gone. Died in an accident at sea about 5 years ago.
I see. My condolences. So there was actually was another descendant. No comment on that. Mysterious.
You folks seem to be pinning your hopes on me just because I'm one of the descendants. But the one who actually inherited our duty wasn't me, it was my sister.
Your duty?
That's right. The duty of the Taishima bloodline. It's been passed down in our family for generations. Even more, our generation would be the one to handle the 400th year since the disaster. My grandpa always said that was particularly important.
So there was a duty Taishima's descendants were meant to perform after 400 years?
But I was young back then. I still had dreams of my own. I wanted no part in some annoying duty, so I ran away from home the first chance I got. I pushed all that responsibility into my sister, but I know I should have helped her.
I see. So that's why your sister was the one who inherited that duty. This duty you mentioned, was it to break the remains of the curse of the raging waves? Wait, was it to break what remains?
I suppose they were connected, but lifting the curse would have been a step along the road, but it wasn't the goal.
Oh really? Then what was it?
Well, it was to return the mermaid that was left behind in Isabei to Ryugu. That was the real duty of the Taishin bloodline.
Okay. I guess it could also be that the princess was the other sister, but... Well, no, I guess, right, they're descendants, theoretically. If they are not actually the survivors, but descendants. And from her talking about her grandpa, I'm starting to maybe believe it. So... I guess there being two doesn't actually interfere with the stories you've heard about there only being one survivor, right? Anyway.
Return the mermaid, huh?
Return a mermaid? So it's true, there really was a mermaid stuck in Isabei because she couldn't return to Ryugu.
That's right, her name is Sobae.
Oh, she's come up in our research, so she was real after all.
You see, my sister that took on the family duty, it seems like she actually met Sobae herself.
So she got to meet the mermaid.
After leaving my hometown and making a living as an armor diver, I'd all but forgotten about the duty I'd left behind. I had no idea what our duty ever actually entailed. When I finally learned the truth, I was crushed by regret.
Regret? Why?
You know, ever since I was a little girl, I'd always been fascinated by mermaids.
Understandable.
I read The Little Mermaid so many times the pages of the book had started to wear away. I would see them in my dreams over and over. Back then I wanted nothing more than to become a mermaid. It's what led me to become an armor diver in the first place. But the true nature of the family duty is only revealed to the one who inherits it.
I see, what bitter irony. But couldn't you meet the mermaid after you learned the truth?
My sister took pity on me and attempted to call her to meet me once in secret.
Oh.
My sister, Mare, even shared some of the things the mermaid had told her.
Uh-huh.
But you know, Sobaya was a cautious mermaid who never truly opened her heart to anyone but my sister. Me, on the other hand, she avoided. I was never even allowed as much as a glimpse.
Quite the bitter outcome.
Mare and the mermaid had grown close as friends. They trusted each other. They were inseparable. But she never once showed herself to anyone other than my sister, not even to a close relative like myself.
So she hid herself away for 400 years. Was such caution really necessary? Your sister must have been an incredible person to earn the mermaid's trust. Though I can only imagine how hard it must have been to be rejected by an existence you so deeply admired and longed to meet.
Mare moved to Kamishima to be closer to Ryugu, all for the mermaid's sake.
And whenever she went out to sea alone, she might have met up with her, maybe?
Then one day she got married and changed her name to Mare Minakuchi. She seemed so happy.
So she got married on Kamishima.
I was so jealous I couldn't think straight and ended up lashing out pretty badly.
Oh.
In an attempt to destroy my sister's relationship with the mermaid, I grabbed her family heirloom and ran off.
Oh. Heirloom, not heirloom. Ah, the infamous Tamatebako, yes?
Yeah, the mermaid was supposed to take it back to Ryugu, so her family had carefully kept it for centuries. And so the years went by. Then 5 years ago I heard that Mare had died in an accident. That's why I came back to Toba. I thought that maybe this meant the duty would be passed on to me.
Of course.
But then our parents and all our relatives had already passed away.
By then.
There was no one left who knew about our duty. There was nothing I could do. I didn't know a thing, not where the mermaid was, nor how to call her. I'd given up. But while I was digging around, that man Ikoma found out I was a descendant of Taishima. You see, I was struggling to get by. I'd sold the information my sister had told me about the mermaid. Back then I was making a living by giving folks a glimpse of the Tamatebako for a ridiculous price.
Uh-huh. And that brings us to the present, I suppose. Seems like risky business. You know, people might just try to steal it and harm her or something. But apparently they didn't succeed, at least. In other words, since your sister died in that accident, your family's duty was never fulfilled. And now you want us to go find the mermaid for you.
That ain't it.
Damn. Decent guess, though.
I guess it must have been about 3 months ago. I was wandering the coast alone when the mermaid Sobaya appeared before me.
Hey. Oh, you finally got to beat her.
She told me this. The seal on the Ryugu gateway has been lifted, so I will be returning. Your sister has done a great deal for me. I now ask you to return the Tamatebako.
Wait, what? The seal was lifted. Ah, is that perhaps why the curse of the raging waves became active again? So, what about the Tamatebako? Did you return it to the mermaid?
I was so overcome with emotion and excitement, I told her. I've hidden the relic. If you want it back, take me to Ryugu.
You said what?
Not being able to fulfill my duty had been weighing heavy on my heart. But in that moment, that pain was gone. On top of that, I figured the mermaid had come to fetch me. Being able to visit the land of the mermaids, there'd be no greater happiness than that.
Kinda selfish, but understandable, I guess.
But Sobai simply told me it wasn't possible and that she'd forfeit the relic, and with that, she was gone.
Huh. Oh. So the mermaid has already returned to Ryugu then?
Ever since then, all I've felt is despair and regret. I'm completely empty inside, there's nothing left. My family's duty has been fulfilled. That's what I meant when I said it was all over.
Has it, though? I don't think it really has. But then the Tamatebako still exists, doesn't it?
Sure does, but... even with such a fancy name, in the end it's just a grimy old box. I opened it once. I was hoping there'd be some elixir of eternal youth inside, or something, but it was completely empty.
Well, yeah, you need some mermaid flesh for that. I see. Even so, I'd still like to trade for it.
Are you sure? I don't see why, but whatever. It's not like anything matters anymore. I'm just sick and tired of it all.
Oh.
In the end, I never did figure out what that Tamatebako really was. The mermaid forfeited it just like that, so maybe it never had any meaning to begin with. It does seem rather odd that she would just, forfeit it like that.
So, what do you want in return?
I want to do whatever it takes to become a mermaid.
You want us to curse you? Is that it? Miss Somakawa, don't tell me. You want me to use the curse stone?
Simply returning to the sea, that's my only wish.
No, listen, there's nothing even remotely beautiful about the curse of the Forsaken Fish. All it will do is turn you into some twisted half-fish monster. Nothing but a grotesque imitation of a mermaid.
I know. That's fine with me. This curse is the essence of that mermaid's power. I'm ready to offer up my life to her.
But...
whatever you do, I'll just be drowning myself anyway.
Oh...
So you won't be dirtying your hands. All you have to do is use the curse. My wish will be granted, and you will be doing me a kindness. That's all there is to it.
Oof. Just hold on a minute, okay? This is just...
The Tamatebako is hidden beneath the floorboards of my house. Please do this for me.
Not all that well hidden, after all. Miss Somakawa, wait! Oh no. Oh no! Ah, she's already gone. Will she come back up if I just wait long enough? Ah, shit. I mean, as far as the story goes, this does happen, so I don't know if we would even have a choice. But first I'll try not to do it. She's nowhere to be seen. Of course, she is an Amadiver after all. Is it too late to call for help? Would she even accept it? Probably not. Got any stickers here? Damn it, what now? What do I do? Should I grant her last wish? It's surely no worse than helplessly standing about as she drowns herself. Right, she was serious about this. She's been dreaming about mermaids ever since she was little. I know exactly how that feels. It may be a curse, but still, I will honor her wishes by unleashing the mermaid's power. It's how she wanted to go. I might be the only one who actually understands Miss Somakawa's feelings. If I don't act now, it'd be like denying her final hope and dream. Can I just wait it out, or does just nothing happen? We'll wait a little longer. I mean, yeah, if she's gonna drown anyway, then, you know, of course, might as well give her what she wants. But also I want to know. Let's have a sip of water. I mean, he straight up said, I will give her what she wants or whatever. So maybe we don't have a choice in the matter. There's that one light again. Wonder if that'll be important or if that's just a realistic thing. Well, we've been waiting for a bit. I mean, I guess a skilled armor diver might be able to hold their breath for several minutes. But... Alright, fine, I'll do it. I'll fulfill her wish, but maybe think about it again first. It may be a curse, but still, I will honor her wishes. Banishing the mermaid's heart, how she wanted to go. I might be the only one in the room. If I don't act now, it'd be like the now. Alright, fine. Ah! Does this count as assisted suicide? 40 years old. A woman living in Toba, although she occasionally does work as an armor diver, wooden box mermaid, has been living there ever since. As Mare Minakuchi's younger sister, Azusa is also a descendant of the sole survivor of Taishima. Following the destruction of Taishima, the Somikawa line hid themselves away, living for generations in a small village within the city of Shima. The book The Little Mermaid was a constant fixture in the household, a decision made so that the children of the family would grow up with a familiarity with the mermaids, and Azusa read it repeatedly as she grew up. The tale fueling a fervent admiration for mermaids within her. Upon realizing that she could never be a mermaid herself, she instead decided to become an armor diver, thinking that it would at least allow her to swim freely through the sea like the beings she so admired. Thus resolved, she left her hometown behind, leaving the family duty, nothing more than a troublesome burden to Azusa, to be handled by her elder sister alone. For all intents and purposes, it appeared that Azusa's wish had been granted. However, upon returning home, following her parents' deaths, she was taken aback to learn that the family duty inherited by Mare was in itself deeply connected to mermaids. Forgetting how she had pushed the duty onto Mare to follow her own desires, Azusa grew deeply resentful of her sister, accusing her of keeping the mermaids to herself and asserting her right to take up the family duty. But it was too late. Yeah, that is very selfish. Of Azusa, that is. But I guess, controlling your emotions can be hard. Mare and the mermaid had already forged an unbreakable bond that no amount of words or deeds could undo. Following Mare's death, she was finally able to meet the being that had enchanted her for so long. However, her desperate plea for the mermaid to take her back to Ryugu was met with staunch refusal, and the mermaid left shortly after, never to return. With her opportunity to fulfill the family duty gone and her chance at connecting with the mermaids lost, Azusa sank into desperate despondency, spending her days in an empty haze. Amidst this despair, the curse of the forsaken fish that appeared before her seemed to be a final chance to have her wish granted. Driven by regret over what she perceived as a life of wrong choices and consumed by her obsession, she threw herself into Ise Bay and surrendered herself to the curse, ultimately dying due to its effects. Her form, writhing in the agony brought on by her sudden transformation, bore no resemblance to the mermaids she had once so admired as a child. Yet it is said that the expression on her face, when her body was discovered a day later in Futamigaura, seemed somehow content. Yeah, that was mentioned. That her face seemed satisfied or something. So by know nothing about her. I mean, she would probably be female, because so far we know female mermaids to all be female, but maybe that's not the thing. One of 3 mermaids who were said to have lived near Taishima about 400 years ago, she has since returned to her home, Jugu. Ain't that some shit? After that, we managed to quietly retrieve the tamatebako from beneath the floor in Miss Somikawa's house. All that was left to secure the dream of immortality was to obtain mermaid flesh. Since Sobai had already returned to Yugu, we placed our hopes on the last remaining mermaid, Nagame, who may or may not be Sato. But we had to act fast, otherwise Ikoma or even those Paranormal Affairs Bureau psychics would get in our way. It might have been the after effects of using the curse, but I got sick the next day and had to spend a full day bedridden at the end. How pathetic. That's when I heard news that 2 female divers had gone missing near Toba. The fact that I'd been involved in both incidents made me feel even worse. Right, yeah, I guess, yeah, right. The other one was the one who found the box. Yeah, I guess, yeah. When Cersei heard the news, she just mumbled something with an unreadable expression on her face. I had no choice. There was simply no other way. Or at least that's what I kept telling myself as I struggled to get out of bed. The next day, August 7th, we set out to gather more information on Nagame and the other mermaids. We traveled to Kamishima, the island where Mare Somikawa, or rather Mare Minakochi, used to live. Okay, it's entirely grayed out, so there was nothing else. You know, no way to not curse her or whatever. But I guess this makes for a solid stopping point. Bada boom. Maybe next time we'll start with their perspective, because we've been going through Arnav's stuff for, like, almost 2 episodes, I think. So maybe that'll be what we do. But I guess you'll just have to find out. Because for today, I will thank you for watching, hanging out, and turning into a beautiful mermaid with me. And I hope you'll join me again sometime. Probably tomorrow. For more of this, most likely. It'll be good. I do gotta say, I definitely think the first game did a better job at hooking you, especially early on. But maybe that's all, you know, maybe that's like some ludonarrative shit, you know, because like, you know, hooking, fishing, mermaids, you know, and it's like, oh, you're not supposed to fish out the mermaids. That's why they did it. That must be it. But still interesting. Just not as exciting, I guess. But I appreciate that they're telling the story in such a different way, right? They could have kind of like repeated the same thing of, like, you know, the first character you play dying early on, right? This death here happened kind of late. And then basing the entire build-up in a similar way. But this is all told very differently, and I think it's good that they went for change. So yeah. But yeah, do join me again sometime. If that is tomorrow, then tomorrow. If not, then some other time. It will be a pleasure for all to behold. So, until we meet again, I say otsukare-sama. Bye-bye.